Chapter 726. Baya was happy too. He sat back in his wheelchair and Baya pushed him back. Just as he pushed the door open, Shosho turned over and whimpered a few times, probably because of the noise. Baya was worried about Shosho and went to pat him. When she turned around to help Gu Lingqing, he went to bed alone. Gu Lingqing was always like that. He took on everything but didn't want to burden others. She climbed onto Gu Lingqing's bed. His bed was only 1.5 meters by 2 meters. She curled up in his arms, but her heart was sweet. Today was the first day he woke up, but she felt as if he had never left. She was really tired today and her heart felt comfortable. She closed her eyes and fell asleep soon after. But she didn't sleep for long when she heard Shosho crying. She woke up immediately. Gu Lingqing opened his eyes too and saw Baya carrying Shosho. After Shosho was carried, he was still crying. Baya probably peed, so she quickly helped Shosho change into a new diaper and gave Shosho milk. Shosho saw the milk bottle and suddenly stopped crying. He held the bottle and sucked on the milk. Baya looked at the time. He had only slept for half an hour. She looked at Gu Lingqing apologetically. "I'm sorry I woke you up." Gu Lingqing shook his head and got up from the bed. Baya immediately ran over to help him up. Gu Lingqing sat on the wheelchair and gestured for the phone. Baya understood and immediately passed the phone to Gu Lingqing. "I've slept for a year and a half. I don't want to sleep anymore. I'm going to do some rehabilitation and we'll be back in an hour." "I'll push you there," Baya said. "Just take care of Shosho," Gu Lingqing edited and returned the phone to Baya. Baya looked at his stubborn back and thought of the time when one of their eagle soldiers had both his legs broken. Most of these soldiers lived independently and strongly. Their willpower was dozens of times stronger than others. All she could do was respect him. There was a knock on the door. "Come in." The doctor walked in. "Madam, the president has instructed us to renovate this ward." Baya didn't understand what Xing Buhua meant. "The president said that since Mr. Gu has woken up, he doesn't need to sleep alone in the hospital bed," the doctor said with a smile. Baya understood. Xing Buhua was really thoughtful. "Where is he now?" "He left when you went for rehabilitation." "He said not to disturb you," the doctor said. There were emotions in Baya's eyes. Xing Buhua was a good brother. At least, he had been giving his all since he appeared. But she was a little heartless. Her and Gu Lingqing's safety was under his protection. But she only thought about the small world with Gu Lingqing. She felt guilty towards Xing Buhua. It was like a quarrel between family members. The other party was in the wrong and said something that hurt the other party. It seemed like she had won, but she was surrounded by guilt. Actually, only when she lost could she be magnanimous. It was okay to feel wronged. She just had to do her own thing. Guilt was another kind of uncomfortable emotion. Baya called Xing Buhua. Xing Buhua answered and asked with a smile, "Is the room ready?" His tone was relaxed, as if he had forgotten that she had rejected him. He was still a calm and steady brother. Baya's heart ached a little. Her voice softened. "What did you want me to help you with?" "Ha!" Xing Buhua smiled brightly. "Help me take care of my brother and my nephew." The more he acted like this, the more guilty she felt. She asked in a different way, "What difficulties did you encounter?" "It's all these messy things. The greater the ability, the greater the responsibility. The higher the position, the more things need to be done, and the more complicated it is. I'm a little regretful. If Shen Yan was the president now, he would have done better than me without the internal and external troubles. But I have so many people supporting me, I have no way out. I just want to do more things that benefit the country and the people while I'm in power, so that I won't be the boss in vain," Xing Buhua said with a smile. Baya's heart ached even more. She didn't want anything to happen to Xing Buhua. "I used to know a master of ancient magic. His fortune-telling is very accurate," Baya said. "I believe that my fate is up to me. All right, I'm about to arrive at the President Palace. Take good care of Gu Lingqing. Although Lingqing has woken up, he still needs some time to recover. Be careful of Leng Shuo. If you can, take control of Leng Zhao's power. Otherwise, he will be the next Shang Dongqing," Baya reminded him. Xing Buhua was stunned. "Do you already know what he has done?" "I don't know what he has done, but there is no loyalty in his eyes. He only cares about his own power. He could betray Gu Lingqing yesterday. Tomorrow, he will betray you in order to go one step further, Baya said coldly. Su Zhang has retired this year, and Zhou Chuanyi has been brought to justice. There will be an election for the vice president next week. Lang Shua came to me and wanted to be the vice president. I'm also troubled by this matter. Xing Buhua's voice became low. There's nothing to worry about. He will be promoted, but he will be demoted. It's a good thing for you if he becomes the vice president, Baya said. That's what I was thinking too. That's why I need your help. Xing Buhua voiced out his thoughts. Baya understood. Lingqing hasn't recovered yet, and we don't know if there will be any side effects. I have someone to recommend. Who? Su Changhao. Although he is Su Zheng's son, he has a good character and doesn't have much ambition. Most importantly, his management ability and ability to handle matters are very strong, Baya recommended. But will he be given too much power? Xing Buhua was worried and was weighing the pros and cons. This is an emergency plan, Baya suggested. All right, we'll do as you say. There's another person, Su Jiaran. What do you think about me putting him in an important position? Xing Buhua asked. Chapter 727. It was just that they had passed and she didn't want him to come back and be at the center of the storm and conflict. Only by starting a new life could he be happy. He's Shaniyen's man. What do you think? Moreover, since he can leave and live a new life, just let him go. There will be many talents coming out anyway. Being at the top isn't about one's personal ability, it's about managing talents. The more he listened, the more he felt that Baya was the best person to help him. But, for this position, he had sacrificed his marriage. There were many things that he would never be able to get in this lifetime. Today, when he saw Baya's child, he suddenly had an idea. He could see their happiness in his dreams. Gu Lingqing was more like his doppelganger. He had already shouldered enough. Why should he let his doppelganger bear the burden with him? He wanted Gu Lingqing to be happy. The happier, the better. He wanted her to stay away from troubles, disasters and misfortune. I understand. I'm hanging up now. Call me if anything happens, Xing Buhua said gently. Baya still felt bitter, especially when she heard his voice that was exactly the same as Gu Lingqing's. Xing Buhua, I'm sorry. Ha! Xing Buhua laughed. You didn't do me wrong. You're just too kind. Even though you look cold, your heart is passionate. I shouldn't have used your kindness to do things that you don't want to do. I shouldn't have made you feel guilty after rejecting me. It's my fault. Don't mind it. You shouldn't have to bear all this. All right, you must be happy. That's all for now. I'm here. Xing Buhua didn't continue the conversation with Baya and hung up. Baya kept her phone and looked up. Gu Lingqing appeared in front of her and looked at her deeply. Baya smiled and walked over. Why are you back so soon? Gu Lingqing made a gesture. Baya didn't understand and felt a little apologetic. From today onwards, I'll learn sign language. I must keep up with your footsteps. I want to learn everything that you know so that you won't dislike me. She passed her phone to Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing held her hand and pulled it down. Baya bent her body and looked into his deep eyes. Gu Lingqing looked at her deeply. In the end, he did not do anything. He let go of her, took her phone, and wrote a text message for her to see. The door is closed. Oh, I'll get them to open the door. Wait for me. Baya ran towards the doctor's office. Gu Lingqing lowered his head and unlocked her phone. When he saw the caller ID, his eyes darkened. In the darkness, he couldn't see his expression clearly. Baya came over with the key in a short while. Gu Lingqing turned his wheelchair to the door. There will be doctors coming over in a while. They are professionals and can guide you on the right way. I'll go and see Shosho later. I have other things to do. See you in an hour, Baya said softly. Gu Lingqing passed her the phone. He didn't say anything and went into the health room alone. Baya watched him walk past her but didn't look at her. Maybe it was because they were so familiar with each other that she could tell what Gu Lingqing was thinking with just one expression. So when he acted like this, she felt a heavy feeling in her heart. She wanted to say something to comfort him, but she felt that he didn't need comfort. Gu Lingqing was very meticulous. She looked at Gu Lingqing and stood up by herself, pressing against the railing. He still didn't look at her, as if he was in his own world. She didn't want to burden him, so she turned around and went back to the ward. Some doctors were decorating her room, and some were coaxing Shosho. She was relieved that they were taking care of Shosho. She turned around and went out of the room to the library. She downloaded a lot of sign language books on the internet and found one in the library. She was very hardworking and attentive. She wanted to learn better as soon as possible. She wanted to let Gu Lingqing know that it didn't matter even if she couldn't speak. She would be his mouth and stay by his side for the rest of her life. He wouldn't be any different from before. 2 hours passed. She was a little hungry. Only then did she realize that it was already 5 o'clock. She hurried out of the library. A doctor ran over and said to Bai Ya, "Go and talk to Mr. Gu. He has been training until now. This will cause his body to be overloaded." "I know," Bai Ya said. She ran to the door of the health room. Gu Lingqing was still practicing, sweating profusely. Bai Ya's heart ached for him. Her eyes were misty, but she wanted to smile. "You've been practicing for a long time. I'm going to the kitchen to cook now. Can you give me the time?" Bai Ya walked in and said. Gu Lingqing looked at her. He panted heavily and nodded. The doctor was surprised. Sister Bai Ya had a way. Her words were better than thousands of words from them. Bai Ya pushed the wheelchair over. Gu Lingqing sat down. Bai Ya squatted in front of him and gently wiped him dry. "I'll accompany you to take a bath after we've finished cooking. But I have stretch marks on my stomach. You can't laugh at me." Gu Lingqing looked at Bai Ya deeply. He lowered his head and kissed her on the forehead. Bai Ya felt a little better. She liked it when he kissed her. She smiled. "Let's go. I'll prepare grilled fish, carrots and vegetable porridge for you tonight. But you can only eat a little of the fish. I'll try to roast the oil off." Gu Lingqing made a gesture. After 2 hours of learning, Bai Ya understood a little. "Is it delicious? You'll know after you eat it. You've just woken up. Let's take it slow. Under normal circumstances, you'll be able to eat normally after a week." Gu Lingqing held her hand and made another gesture. Bai Ya didn't understand, but Gu Lingqing made a watching and learning gesture. She guessed that he was talking about her sign language. She explained. "I was learning sign language in the library just now. It's quite interesting. It's commonly used. Although I can't express it well, I understand a little. I'm not good at other things, but I'm good at learning. When I took the civil servant exam, I ranked first in the written exam." Gu Lingqing slightly raised the corner of his mouth. His smile was still very faint. He seemed to be thinking of some memories, and his gaze became distant. After a while, they went to the kitchen. As Bai Ya was cooking dinner late today, the doctors had specially left time for them. So, they had prepared dinner for the doctors. "Sister Bai Ya, we made dinner for you, but it doesn't seem to be as delicious as yours." "We didn't make Mr. Gu's dinner," the doctor said with a smile. "It's okay. You guys eat first. I'll eat later," Bai Ya said gently. She opened the fridge and took out the codfish from the freezer. She took out the bacon, carrots, and tomatoes from the freezer. "Gu Lingqing, can you do me a favor later?" Gu Lingqing nodded. "I'll need to trouble you to cut the carrots into small strips," Bai Ya said. Chapter 728. He propped himself up from the wheelchair. Bai Ya turned around to wash the carrots and took out the knife. Gu Lingqing looked at her back, his eyes dark and deep. Bai Ya passed the knife and carrots to him. "I'll have to trouble you with this." The doctors looked at each other and ate quickly, leaving Bai Ya and Gu Lingqing alone. "Sister Bai Ya, leave Shosho to us. Don't worry," the last doctor who went out said. "Thank you," Bai Ya said with a smile. Suddenly, she felt that it was better this way. Life was comfortable and fulfilling, and every day was sunny. She melted the codfish in the microwave first and made the tomato sauce herself. She suddenly remembered that Gu Lingqing couldn't speak. If she didn't speak, she would seem too cold. She was worried that Gu Lingqing would let his imagination run wild, so she specially thought of a joke and said, "I saw a talk show before. It was very funny. He said that many parents brought Xiao Bao Bei out to play. They would hide on purpose, scare their baby, and then tell him that he shouldn't run around. If one day, his Xiao Bao Bei also hid, then the adults would be anxious. Then, Xiao Bao Bei would imitate the adults and tell them not to run around in the future. Thinking about this scene, it's quite funny. Okay. Gu Lingqing answered the doctor. Bai Ya's body trembled. Just hearing that word was enough to make her excited. She turned her head and looked at Gu Lingqing. He also smiled and said another word. Yeah. She seemed to remember that when he first woke up, he also called her Ya. She was very touched, and her eyes felt wet again. Gu Lingqing gestured with his hands. Bai Ya couldn't understand, so she passed the phone to him. I will definitely study hard in the future. Give me a month. Gu Lingqing took her phone and typed on it. Don't worry. I think I should be able to find the correct way to pronounce it. It might be a little difficult, but I will. Bai Ya was happy. Yes, but it doesn't matter even if you can't speak. As long as you're alive, it's the best gift God has given me. Gu Lingqing closed his eyes. He put the phone on the table and continued to cut the carrot sticks. Bai Ya boiled the ketchup and added some sugar and a little rice flour as a thickener. After she was done, she opened the frying pan, put a little oil in it, and fried the carrots inside. There are a lot of vitamins in the carrots, which are helpful for the body's recovery. The taste is very different when you fry them. Gu Lingqing nodded again. Bai Ya smiled, turned to look at him, and said, I used to watch a movie called Guardians of the Galaxy. In it there was a tree man. He was kind, philanthropic, brave, and righteous. However, he only said one thing. I am Groot. No matter what he wanted to express, he only said one thing. I am Gu. Loot. Gu Lingqing also smiled slightly. Later, I watched another movie. It was an animated film. I think it was called 100,000 Corny Jokes. There was a dog. He also couldn't speak. His master put a shirt on him. He only knew 3 sentences, and one of them was Who am I, who am I, who am I? Once they seemed to be looking for some treasure. Many people were looking for it. They all wanted to find it out of selfishness, and they were all trying to trick each other. This puppy is really something. He found it sneakily, but what's strange is that the key is actually a sentence. He doesn't know how to speak, so he's anxious to death. He can only follow the first sentence and call for others. I think it's funny seeing this. Gu Lingqing also smiled and made a gesture. This time, Bai Ya understood. Okay, let's watch these movies together tonight. She continued to work on the carrots. When she was done, she wrapped the carrots in the bacon and fried them. She didn't roast too much. Gu Lingqing couldn't eat too much. She made 3 bacon rolls and placed them in front of Gu Lingqing. I'll make a little white rice for you later. You can only eat a little. But there's also codfish. This kind of fish has a lot of minerals. It's good for your body to eat some, but you can't eat too much today. Gu Lingqing nodded. Bai Ya took out the codfish that she had prepared and covered it with tomato sauce. She placed a row of carrots on top of the codfish. Finally, she spread cheese on top of the carrots and placed it in the oven to roast. It only needed 5 minutes. The extra tomato sauce was added to the rice. It made the rice softer and absorbed all the tomato sauce. After the tomato rice was done, the codfish was done too. Bai Ya took it out and placed it in front of Gu Lingqing. I know you don't like sweet things, but tomatoes are also good for your body. Gu Lingqing lowered her head and ate the rice. She didn't look like she didn't want to eat at all. Bai Ya was happy too. She scooped the rice and ate with Gu Lingqing. Time was peaceful. The lights above their heads seemed especially gentle and fell on them. After dinner, Bai Ya pushed Gu Lingqing to see Shosho. Before they entered the ward, they heard Shosho giggling because of the doctor's teasing. When they entered the room had already changed. The original sickbed was replaced by a 2-meter by 2-meter bed. Next to the big bed was a 1.6-meter by 1.8-meter bed. The small bed was separated by wooden boards to prevent Shosho from falling down. There were curtains around the bed. There was a television opposite and a long table next to it. Moreover, in addition to these, there was a 5-meter by 10-meter small amusement park at the furthest side. In the amusement park, there were caterpillars, plastic balls, slides, and swings. There were also jumping bears, small sports cars, and basketball hoop. At this time, Shosho was sitting in the amusement park and playing happily. Did Shosho drink milk? Baya asked. Yes. Sister Baya, don't worry. We're here, the doctor said. Okay, then I'll leave it to you. I want to watch a movie with Ling Qing, Baya said with a smile. Go, go. Why don't Shosho sleep with us tonight? A doctor suggested. No need. You're too tired. Shosho has to come out to drink milk in the middle of the night. Baya didn't want to trouble others. We're not tired. Moreover, there are many of us. Sister Baya, you have to give us something to do. Otherwise, we'll be laid off, the doctor said. Baya thought for a while. Recently, she also wanted to learn sign language as soon as possible so that she could communicate with Gu Lingqing without any obstacles. Then I'll trouble you tonight. Not at all. It's my pleasure, the doctors said in unison. Baya nodded and pushed Gu Lingqing out to the library. It's all thanks to their care for the past year. If any one of them wants to leave, I don't think I'll be able to bear it, Baya said softly. In fact, since Gu Lingqing had woken up, there really wasn't a need for so many people to stay here. But she was already used to these people. If one of them left, she would feel lonely. Chapter 729. We can let them stay. Just give them something to do. For example, continue to study the brain. Not just my brain, Gu Lingqing suggested. Baya was enlightened. Why didn't I think of that? This is a good thing for the people. Xing Buhua will probably agree. I'll tell him now, in case I forget tomorrow. Now that I have Shosho, my memory isn't as good as before. Okay, Gu Lingqing replied. There was some dark ripples in her eyes. However, Baya didn't see it. She called Xing Buhua. It only took 3 rings before Xing Buhua picked up the phone. He said softly, Xiaoya, what's wrong? It's like this. Gu Lingqing has woken up. What are you going to do with the doctors here? Baya asked. I've been a little busy lately. I haven't decided whether they should stay or leave yet. What do you think? Xing Buhua said as he scanned through the documents. It's like this. These are the experts you found. You can let them continue to do their research in the base. Maybe they will make some achievements and help improve medicine. Yes, but there's no hurry. Yes, but there's no rush. Currently, their mission is still Ling Qing. I don't want anything to happen to Ling Qing. I hope that he can be healthy and accompany you until you grow old. Don't worry, I won't dismiss your people for the time being. I can still afford to support them for a few years. She understood what Xing Buhua meant. He was too busy. What she said was already a trivial matter. She shouldn't disturb him. You go ahead. I'll contact you if there's anything, Xing Buhua said and hung up. Baya glanced at Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing looked at her deeply. There was no expression on her face. It was cold. Xing Buhua said that these people won't be dismissed for the time being. But he has a lot of things to do. We'll talk about the brain research later. Their mission is to take care of you and ensure your safety, Baya explained to Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing didn't say anything. He just looked ahead. Baya pushed Gu Lingqing to the imaging room next to the library. They could watch movies there, and the seats were also sofas. When she went to choose a movie, Gu Lingqing sat on the sofa from his wheelchair. Baya chose South, a popular movie that was shown when he was unconscious. She had seen this movie before. It was mainly about the 60s. There was a village of people who walked out of the mountains to work in the big city. After experiencing hard work, misfortune, and cruel reality, some returned home to farm, some went to jail, some contracted viruses, some got married, and some still hung around in KTV and other entertainment places. Some became old ladies, while others succeeded in starting their own businesses. A nostalgic and realistic movie. There were a few contrasting plots. Little Red was the village's beauty. Little Fong looked ordinary, but she was hardworking. Little Ming was very handsome, and he was Little Red's boyfriend. Little Wong looked ugly, and he also liked Little Red. But in the end, Little Red went to KTV and not only contracted the virus, but also became an old lady. She looked down on Little Wong, but Little Wong was her frequent customer. Little Fong originally wanted to be with Little Wong, but after knowing about Little Wong and Little Red, she left Little Wong, married a man in the city, and lived a plain, warm, and happy life. And Little Ming, under the wasted time, financial pressure, and emotional betrayal, twisted his originally good life, and became a swindler. This was a film worth pondering over. Baya leaned her head on Gu Lingqing's shoulder. Gu Lingqing also held her hand. When watching a movie alone it was fun, and when two people watched it, it was the atmosphere. It was just that it was so quiet, and when she was with Gu Lingqing, she felt that her heart was very calm and very comfortable. The movie lasted for half an hour, and when it ended, it was almost 10 o'clock. Baya looked at Gu Lingqing, and Gu Lingqing also looked at her. The two of them looked at each other, not saying a word, and there was a subtle feeling between the two of them. She felt sweet in her heart as well. It was so good to be looked at by him, so good that it could let her forget all the misfortune, sadness, confusion, and suffering in the past. Do you know how happy I am? Baya smiled, smiling like an innocent child. I'm so glad that we have a large group of people who care about us, so I can wait for you until now. Gu Lingqing stroked her head, and with a hand gesture he said, I'm sorry. Baya shook her head, and her eyes became misty. You're not sorry. Humans can't fight against the heavens, and not everyone is invincible. Perhaps, this is the life that we have to experience. There are many things that we can't accept, and even the strongest person will disappear, and the spiritual pillar that we rely on will collapse. Fortunately, I didn't give up. As long as we persevere and move forward, there will always be a miracle, right? As Baya said that, she cried. The life of thinking that he was dead was too difficult. Every day, she was in the midst of suffering, and the torture in her heart could cause her entire spirit to collapse. She doubted herself, why did she want to live, and what was the purpose of living? Perhaps now she had the answer. Only by living, there would be miracles, and only by living, there would be hope. I won't commit suicide in the future, no matter what happens, Baya promised. Gu Lingqing smiled. The moment he saw her smile, she then understood that she was living because he wanted her to do so. She threw herself into Gu Lingqing's arms. You too, you must live. No matter what difficulties we encounter, we must be strong and optimistic. Gu Lingqing replied. She believed, and she always knew that no matter what Gu Lingqing did, he would do it better than her. She hugged him for a while, and suddenly thought of something. Let's take a bath first. You've sweated a lot today. She wanted to take a bath after dinner, but she didn't know why, but she forgot. Gu Lingqing nodded. There's a place to take a bath in your ward, and the bathtub is quite big. When you were unconscious, I would occasionally ask them to help you take a bath to improve your blood circulation. Usually, it would be like this for 10 to 15 minutes, Baya explained. Thank you for your hard work. He used a hand gesture to say the last sentence, and Baya understood it. Let's go at this time, Shosho should be asleep. Baya pushed Gu Lingqing back to the ward. There was no one in the room, and there was a note on the table. It was written by the doctor. Sister Baya, we're taking Shosho away. See you tomorrow. The corners of Baya's lips curled up slightly. She had a group of cute people around her. She went to the cabinet and found a set of Gu Lingqing's clothes, and nagged. Previously, you only had a patient's uniform, and I thought it was ugly, so I specially asked Xing Buhua to send your clothes from home, and also asked someone to make a few sets of pure cotton clothes for you. I have a set of clothes with you, and Shosho also has one. Next time, we can wear it together and go out to play as a family of 3. Gu Lingqing watched as Baya took out the clothes. She walked towards him with the clothes, bent down and looked at his eyes. Looking at me like this, is it clearer? Chapter 730. Baya placed the clothes on his lap and unbuttoned his shirt. Her movements were very skillful. After all, she had always been the one taking care of him. All of a sudden, Gu Lingqing held her hand. He undressed himself and was only left with his undershirt. Pants, let me help you. We're husband and wife, right? Baya squatted in front of Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing made a gesture, indicating that he would do it. She really wanted to help him, but Gu Lingqing was actually very stubborn. She knew that he didn't want to trouble her. The only thing she could do was to do what he wanted. She took the clothes on his lap. I'll wait for you in the bathroom. She turned on the faucet, adjusted the water temperature, and took off her clothes. She washed her clothes and even washed her hair. When she was done, Gu Lingqing still hadn't come in. She wrapped a towel around herself and opened the bathroom door. Gu Lingqing stood behind the cart. His undershirt was already soaked with sweat. It was a simple action, but it took him a lot of effort. Baya wanted to cry. Her eyes were red, and she smiled. "I've filled the water and washed my hair. Come in." Gu Lingqing replied. She was afraid that he would fall, but she couldn't bear to see it. The only thing she could do was to look at him. "Lingqing, I want to help you," Baya said softly. Her voice was sweet, but it was pleading. Gu Lingqing's face was expressionless. He only replied, Baya quickly went to help him. When she touched his body, she realized that he was trembling badly and his body was wet. He probably couldn't take it anymore, which was why he agreed to let her help. Her heart ached. She tried her best to help him to the bathroom. Gu Lingqing pressed on the bathtub and entered it. His breathing was a little heavier. Baya squatted down in front of the bathtub. "Lingqing, it's okay. This is because you've been bedridden for a long time. You'll recover in a year at most. I promise, we're not in a hurry." Gu Lingqing looked at Baya's worried eyes and touched her head. Baya smiled. "I'll get you a towel." Gu Lingqing pointed at the clothes and motioned her to put them on. He was worried that she would catch a cold. What she was thinking was that she would have to help him get up later and her clothes would get wet, so she might as well not put them on first. She would wait for him to put on his clothes and get on the bed before she put them on. "I want to bathe with you for a while longer," Baya said softly. She was already a mother of 2 children. Speaking of this, she blushed. Gu Lingqing looked at her deeply and said nothing. Baya handed him the towel and untied the towel around her body. She was still very skinny and didn't have any excess fat on her body. Although there were some stretch marks on her abdomen, she looked even sexier, like a blooming flower. Moreover, because she had been taking care of him for a long time and taking care of the children, she had actually developed mermaid lines. Her figure was even better than before. She was embarrassed to stand in front of him naked and quickly entered the bathtub. The bathtub was very big and it was big enough for the 2 of them. Gu Lingqing looked at her with a burning gaze. Her face turned even redder. At that time, Xing Buhua had also looked at her like that. But other than repulsion and fear, she didn't feel anything else. But Gu Lingqing's gaze was different. She would feel uneasy, her heart would beat faster, she would be at a loss, and she would even be shy. "Why are you looking at me like that?" Baya said softly. He lifted her chin and his lips moved closer to hers. She didn't hide. This was the man she loved. She could give him everything she had. She closed her eyes and accepted his kiss. His kiss was still domineering, but there was gentleness in it. He would suck hard, but at a certain point, it would become very gentle. From gentle to forceful, he kissed for about 5 minutes. Suddenly, he let go of her and frowned slightly. "What's wrong?" Baya didn't understand. She didn't do anything. She was just cooperating with his kiss. Gu Lingqing's expression wasn't very natural. He looked at her lips and held her hand, pressing it on his abdomen. He was using his actions to tell her what was wrong with him. Baya. She also didn't expect that Gu Lingqing would be a normal man not long after he woke up. The doctor said that all his functions were normal. Thinking about it, it was normal. Well, I saw a report previously about a man who became a vegetable after being hit by a car. He only woke up a year later and his legs couldn't move anymore. Then, his wife took the initiative to have sex with him. It seemed that it was also a kind of treatment that could promote the waist and abdomen movement. Yes. Baya was already very embarrassed when she said this. But they were husband and wife, so it didn't matter if they said this. She continued to say, "You just woke up today, so I think it should be fine. But, considering that your intake of protein was too low previously, let's do another checkup tomorrow. I also have to ask the doctor if it's okay. It's better to be safe." Gu Lingqing replied and let go of her hand. Baya guessed that if she stayed in the same bathroom with him, it would be even more difficult for him to hold it in. "I'll come out first. I'll bring a chair in for you later." Gu Lingqing nodded. Baya went out with a bath towel around her. She brought a chair in and washed it with water. Gu Lingqing also came out of the bathtub. She looked at him, and there was still no sign of him stopping. Her face blushed all the way to her ears. She took a bath towel from the rack and handed it to him. She also handed his clothes to him. Gu Lingqing put on his own clothes. She put on her own clothes too. The atmosphere was very strange, but the temperature was rising. Speaking of which, it was normal. In fact, they should have not had sex for more than a year. Baya got dressed first. She pushed the wheelchair in. Well, I'm going out for a while. Gu Lingqing nodded. She wanted to wait until tomorrow to say it, but they still had to sleep together tonight. It wouldn't be good for him to keep holding it in. It was more reliable for her to ask. Baya came to the on-call room. Sister Baya. The doctor in the on-call room immediately stood up. Well, I want to ask about his physical examination today. Other than some problems with his speech nerve center, is everything all right? For example, protein stem cells and so on. Baya asked. Actually, all his physiological functions are normal. There are still many things that need to be observed. After all, it's his head that's injured. Even if many places are broken, there won't be any problems, the doctor said. Well then. Baya wanted to say something but stopped. She was embarrassed to say it. What? The doctor asked. Anyway, even if she didn't ask today, she would ask tomorrow. If there is a need in that area, is it okay? Will it affect him? Baya asked directly. Chapter 731. Will it be bad for his body? After all, he just woke up, Baya said softly. Prepare a glass of milk. Milk can not only increase his body's resistance, but it can also promote sleep. There's milk in the fridge. It was delivered today. My colleague will go out tomorrow to buy some milk powder for adults. Oh, I understand. Thank you, doctor, Baya said. The doctor smiled. Sister Baya, do you need any birth control products? The pharmacy has them now. Baya felt awkward. She cleared her throat and nodded. Follow me. The doctor walked in front. Baya followed behind him embarrassedly. They went to the pharmacy. He took a few boxes of birth control products and 2 boxes of chewable tablets for Baya. These are health supplements. They can supplement calcium and vitamins. Baya took them all. Don't tell anyone else. Haha, okay. The doctor was happy. Baya turned around and went back to the room. Gu Lingqing was already resting. It was quiet. She closed the door, locked it, and lay down beside Gu Lingqing. She put the things under the pillow and glanced at Gu Lingqing. It seemed to have disappeared. That's good. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Then good night, Baya said and turned off the lights. Gu Lingqing turned over and hugged her. Baya did not move, quietly listening to his heartbeat. Thump, thump, thump. She hugged his hand. Tomorrow, I want to push you out for a walk. There are grass and trees around here. Although it's winter, many leaves are still green. I think there might be small animals in the forest. I'll make a trap, okay? Gao Gu Lingqing took a deep breath. There's no rush. We can take it slow. We just need to improve a little every day, Baya said with a smile and looked back at him. Okay. Gu Lingqing finally said the right word. Baya smiled happily. He smiled too. The way he looked at her became more and more mesmerizing, as if he had absorbed the stars. He took out his phone and wrote a text message, showing it to her. The doctor said it's okay. I saw what you hid under the pillow. Baya blushed. The doctor said it's okay, as long as you drink a glass of milk or something before bed. As soon as she finished speaking, Gu Lingqing kissed her lips and closed his eyes. His familiar scent landed on her face. It was still cool and had the scent of toothpaste. Strong, dense, overwhelming, and dizzying, as if it could suck people into his world. Just like how he used to be, it was a feeling she was most familiar with. Baya kissed him back. He took her tongue and sucked hard. Baya groaned. He let go of her and looked at her with a burning gaze. He held her hand and pressed it on his abdomen, expressing his thoughts. Baya looked at her reflection in his eyes and asked embarrassedly, now? Gu Lingqing replied, his eyes bright. Her eyes were fixed, and she took out the contraceptive products from the pillow. The doctor said that you will be taking the medicine tomorrow, so you can't have children for the time being. She opened the package and took out one. She was skilled at cleaning him, but she was not good at doing this kind of thing. But based on his physical condition, she needed to take the initiative. Because she hadn't done it for a long time, it hurt a little, but she endured it. It was okay. This was the person she loved. Soon, the pain was gone. She bit her lip. He hugged her waist and kissed the sweat on her face. Baiya's breathing became heavier and heavier. She opened her mouth and breathed. He kissed her on the lips, giving her some strength. In the past, he was the one who took the initiative and led the way. He didn't need her to say anything. She just needed to rely on him. But love was about protecting each other. Blindly demanding would make the other party too tired. Fortunately, in the past year, she had to work out so that she would have more strength to take care of him and the child. So, even if she took the initiative, it was okay, unlike in the past when she had to rely on him. Gradually, the feeling became stronger. She hugged the back of Gu Lingqing, leaned on his shoulder, and couldn't help but moan. Gu Lingqing kissed her shoulder too. She rested for a minute and felt quite embarrassed. He hadn't, and her face was as red as a peach. He was very gentle, not anxious or impatient. Looking into his eyes, she felt her heart was filled with sweetness, and took the initiative to kiss him. Time passed by in the waves, leading to a beautiful place. After that, they didn't take a shower. They snuggled up to each other and fell asleep. In the past, every day at 6 o'clock in the morning, the doctor would come to check on Gu Lingqing. Shosho would eat milk powder a few times in the middle of the night and cry a few times. Every time she woke up in the middle of the night, she couldn't fall asleep. She would sit by his bed and quietly accompany him. Last night was the best sleep she had since she came to the base for a long time. The doctors didn't come to check on Gu Lingqing early in the morning, and Shosho was also taken care of by the doctors. After a good sleep, the whole person was very energetic. She opened her eyes and saw Gu Lingqing, and a smile appeared on her face. Gu Lingqing seemed to sense it. He also opened his eyes, looked at her, and kissed Baiya's face. "I'll get up first and make breakfast for you later. It will take about half an hour. If you feel bored, you can go and see Shosho," Baiya said. "Okay." Baiya got up first. She didn't take a shower yesterday, so she cleaned up in the bathroom. She went to the kitchen to make breakfast for Gu Lingqing. As soon as she opened the door, she met the doctor who was walking over. "Do you still have to check on Gu Lingqing in the morning?" Baiya asked. "Yes, but there's no hurry. We'll do it for him when he's free." "Okay, did the person who bought it go out today?" "Yes, he did. He should have bought almost everything by now." "Well, I want a mobile phone for Gu Lingqing. I'll give him the money." "The mobile phone is already in our purchase list. Don't worry, Baiya. We will buy a lot more that you won't expect. By the way, there's one more thing. We are communicating with the Americans. They are researching a new technology. Simply put, it's converting brainwaves into a voice recorder. I'll send the video to your email later, and you'll be able to see it then." Baiya had seen this research on the news a year ago. It was specially used for people in a vegetative state, paralyzed people, and people who couldn't speak because their speech centers were disrupted. The good thing was that there might really be an immediate effect, and they could express themselves freely. The bad thing was that the fluency of speech was not good. Also, there were a lot of wires on the head, and it was too ugly. Most importantly, if the vocal cords were not used, they would be useless. "This matter is not urgent. We can slowly contact them. Thank you, but I think Lingqing's speech center can be restored. I've seen LV Bowie in person. When Lingqing can walk, I'll go out with him to find it." Baiya rejected tactfully. Chapter 732. "All right, we'll look for it here too." "Oh yeah, Sister Baiya, you haven't had breakfast yet, right? We've made chicken porridge. Mr. Gu should be able to eat it too," the doctor said with a smile. "It seems like I'm a little late to make breakfast now." "Thank you." "It's my pleasure," the doctor said. Baiya went to the kitchen to make 2 poached eggs and 2 bowls of chicken porridge. She gave Gu Lingqing grilled fish yesterday and he didn't have any gastrointestinal discomfort. She could get some eels for Gu Lingqing to eat today. She called the doctor again. Can you get someone to buy some wild eels, pigeons, turtles and the like?" "Yes, these are all on the menu too." Baiya was really grateful to the doctors. They thought about it more carefully than she did. "Thank you," Baiya said, feeling touched. After hanging up the phone, She brought breakfast back to the room. Gu Lingqing was taking a shower alone in the bathroom. It would take him a long time to come out. She was worried that the breakfast would be cold and not good for his stomach, so she went back to the kitchen and poured the porridge into the pot. She went to see Shosho. Shosho was having fun with the doctors. He grabbed the ball and passed it to the doctor. The doctor dropped the ball. He crawled over nimbly, picked it up and passed it to the doctor. When he saw Bai Ya, he stopped playing and reached out for a hug. Bai Ya's heart softened. She hugged Shosho. "Good boy, Shosho. Mommy will take you out to play later." "Sister Bai Ya, you're going out later? With Mr. Gu?" a doctor asked. "Yeah, I want to go out for a walk. It's not far, just on the lawn. I saw a forest over there. There might be pheasants or something. I want to try my luck," Bai Ya said with a smile. "Sure. We'll go out with you later. We can bring Shosho along and set up a few tents in the forest," the doctor said. "Will this place be exposed? The tent is too obvious." Bai Ya was worried. "It doesn't matter. This place was kept secret because it would be too dangerous for Mr. Gu to be discovered by Xing Shang. Xing Shang had ordered the president to kill Mr. Gu several times before. Now that Xing Shang is gone, and no one can threaten Mr. Gu's safety, it's fine even if he builds a hut in the woods," the doctor suggested. "That's really not bad. We can go out to get some fresh air. We can also plant some fresh vegetables and fruits on the ground and raise chickens and ducks. Moreover, it won't affect our health and rest." Bai Ya was delighted. "It's like this. That's great. Shosho, you can play with Uncle and Auntie for a while. I'll talk to your father and we can go out to play after we pack up," Bai Ya said to Shosho. Xiao Bao Bao didn't really understand Bai Ya's words. He just wanted to follow Bai Ya, so he kept sticking to Bai Ya and babbled, unwilling to let go. The medical staff next to them used toys to attract him, especially those that could make strange sounds. Xiao Bao Bao was full of curiosity about this world. When he heard strange sounds and saw strange things, he would open his eyes wide and be filled with the desire to know. Bai Ya conveniently put Shosho down. Shosho climbed to take the small loudspeaker in the doctor's hand. Bai Ya showed a kind smile and slowly turned around. She went to the kitchen and brought breakfast back to the room. Gu Lingqing came out of the bathroom, washed his hair, and changed into clean clothes. His figure was valiant, heroic, and handsome. "Come and have breakfast. The doctors made it. I have something to tell you later." Bai Ya put down the porridge and went to help Gu Lingqing with a smile. "Okay. There is a small grassland above, and there is a large forest around it. They said to make a house for us. We can rest outside when we want. It won't affect your health. We'll still sleep here." Gu Lingqing saw that she was happy and didn't object. After he sat down, he gestured with his hands. Bai Ya looked at it seriously and guessed, "You said that you need 4 hours to do the reconstruction?" "Yes. Yes, I'll tell the doctor and ask them to make a more reasonable plan. Let's combine diet, rest, and reconstruction. I can cooperate with you at my time." Gu Lingqing's eyes flashed with darkness. He didn't say anything and nodded. After breakfast, because there were 4 doctors going with them, they prepared a lot of things. When they left the base, the fresh air that blew against their faces was a little cold. However, this little bit of coolness was nothing to people with a warm heart. They felt relaxed and happy. When Shosho went outside, he was extremely happy. His 2 small hands waved and his mouth made a sound of 88888. Gu Lingqing looked at Shosho, and there was a warm smile in his eyes. Someone set up a simple tent first and added quilts, blankets, and toys in the tent. Bai Ya put Shosho in the tent. Shosho immediately lay on the ground and continued to dig the grass. They also set up a very big tent, 1 room and 1 living room. There was still a lawn under the living room, mainly used to shelter them from the wind. They put a folding round table and 6 chairs in the living room. A small folding table was placed with the ingredients for today's barbecue, and 2 stoves were prepared. The room was also covered with thick cotton wool and bedding. If Bai Ya and the others wanted to rest later, they could sleep directly. When it was done, it was already time for lunch. Shosho drank his milk and continued to play with the grass in the tent. After playing for a while, he stuffed it into his mouth. The doctor quickly stopped him and gave him a bite stick. He looked at him without blinking, afraid that he would eat grass again. Bai Ya and the others prepared the ingredients together. When the ingredients were ready, someone barbecued them. Bai Ya had a late breakfast and was not hungry. She went out to look for Gu Lingqing. He sat under the tree and focused on doing something. He looked like a noble son in ancient times, cool and elegant. She walked over. He was making sounds in a low voice. When he saw Bai Ya, he smiled and asked, "Are you tired?" Bai Ya smiled. "One sentence a day. After 2 months I think I can talk a lot." Gu Lingqing nodded. "It's time for lunch. They're barbecuing. Your stomach might not be used to it now. I'll cook something for you later, okay?" "Okay." Bai Ya pushed him over. The doctors gathered together. Someone was carrying Shosho. When Shosho saw Bai Ya, he wanted to be carried by Bai Ya. Bai Ya took Shosho. "Sister Bai Ya, tell us about your love story with Mr. Gu," a doctor asked. Bai Ya and Gu Lingqing were low-key and introverted people who were not good with words, especially in front of so many people. She felt embarrassed, but if she didn't say it, it would ruin their interest. She said simply, "After we met, there was a period of time when his memory was blank. I didn't know that he liked me, so I went to America and studied psychology. Later, I needed to deal with a case in the military, so I got in touch with him. After that, he recovered his memory, and we've been together ever since." After Bai Ya said that, the doctors did not speak for a minute. A male doctor said, "It sounds very normal." Bai Ya smiled too. Gu Lingqing held her hand. The two of them looked at each other as if they had been in the past for thousands of years. Chapter 733. Sister Bai Ya, I have a question. Is your little finger really like this? A female doctor asked. Bai Ya looked at her broken little finger, then looked at Gu Lingqing's broken little finger. Her eyes were a little misty. When I was kidnapped that year, one of my fingers was cut off. He also cut off his to accompany me. How romantic, the girl said enviously. Bai Ya twitched the corner of her mouth. The romance in the eyes of outsiders was cruel, sad, and painful for them. Let's not talk about us. Lingqing wants to do rehabilitation for 4 hours a day. Do you have any good suggestions or reasonable arrangements? Okay. The doctor thought for a while and said, 3.5 hours. Arrange the rehabilitation for 1.5 hours in the morning. That way, he can exercise his muscles and bones. 2 hours at night. It's good for him to sleep. Is that okay? Bai Ya looked at Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing nodded. That's good too. After you're done in the morning, we can go out for lunch and dinner outside. We can go back after eating, Bai Ya said to Gu Lingqing. After she finished speaking, she looked at the doctors. Then you guys eat first. I'll go make Lingqing's meal. Okay, Sister Bai Ya, let me carry Shosho. The doctor immediately went to carry Shosho. Someone was responsible for attracting Shosho's attention. Bai Ya made a simple eel soup. She scooped up the eel, put the rice and minced meat into the soup and cooked it. When it was almost done, she stirred it to prevent it from sticking to the pot. When it was almost done, she added salt and chopped vegetables. She stirred it until it was all done. It smells so good. I want to eat it just by looking at it, a doctor said. I cooked a big pot. Everyone has a share. Wait a moment, I'll braise the eel. It'll taste better, Bai Ya said with a smile. She scooped a bowl for Gu Lingqing and put in 5 pieces of boiled eel. She brought it to Gu Lingqing. Wow, so happy, a doctor exclaimed. Gu Lingqing also raised the corner of her mouth slightly, lowering her head to eat Bai Ya's cooking. I feel that Mr. Gu is always so cool, but so warm, a doctor praised. Gu Lingqing was the kind of person who was indifferent to other people's praises. Bai Ya smiled and went to cook for the other doctors. Shosho stared at Gu Lingqing's bowl and swallowed his saliva. His mouth was also moving, which made the doctors laugh. Gu Lingqing looked at him. Realizing that he had been discovered, he waved his little arms and laughed as he shouted, 88888888, as if he was teasing Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing was also attracted by its cuteness. She reached out and put it on her lap. Shosho burrowed into Gu Lingqing's arms. Yo, our Shosho is so smart. You know how to stick to your daddy, little guy. A doctor pinched Shosho's soft face. Shou stayed in Gu Lingqing's arms adorably. Gu Lingqing held such a meatball in his arms. His heart was also very soft. He showed a fatherly smile, which made the two female doctors stare at him. However, they didn't have any improper thoughts. They just thought that Gu Lingqing was good-looking. Mr. Gu and President Xing are twins. Although they look exactly the same, their personalities are worlds apart, a doctor sighed. Gu Lingqing put away his smile and looked at Bai Ye meaningfully. His eyes were deep, as if there was a lot of content, but at the same time, people couldn't see more content. Bai Ye noticed Gu Lingqing's gaze. She looked at him and smiled. Gu Lingqing lowered his head and looked at Shou. Shou started to eat his fingers and sucked. Gu Lingqing moved his hand away. He glanced at Gu Lingqing and put his fingers in his mouth again. Gu Lingqing moved his hand away again. Shou pursed his lips. There were tears in his eyes. He was about to cry. When the doctor saw that, he immediately stuffed a pacifier into Shou's mouth. Shou, don't cry. Eat a pacifier. Your fingers are dirty. Shou stopped crying. He looked at the doctor and reached out for a hug. The doctor looked at Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing nodded, his face as cold as ice. The doctor carried Shou away. He lowered his head and ate. Bai Ye also finished preparing the eels. Everyone, come over and eat. She scooped a bowl for herself and sat next to Gu Lingqing. Children will naturally get close to those who spoil them, go along with them, and treat them well. Those who are strict, fierce, and don't go according to their wishes, they will reject them. Gu Lingqing made a gesture. What do you think the right thing to do? Many adults will say, I don't allow you to do this, I don't allow you to do that, you're not good this way, you're not good that way. Actually, children are still young. They don't understand why it's not good. Even if they obey on the surface, there will still be objections in their hearts. Even if some parents are eloquent, some children will still misunderstand. At this time, the right thing to do is to divert the child's interest and thoughts. For example, if their fingers are not good or dirty, just give them a pacifier. You'll solve the problem and he'll still like you, Bai Ye said patiently. Gu Lingqing nodded and gave her a thumbs up. He was a failure in managing children. Just like what Bai Ye said, he was not allowed to do this, not allowed to do that. He was a strict father, so Xiao Yan never liked him. If Bai Ye was by his side, she would definitely take good care of the child. After the meal, Shou habitually wanted to sleep. Bai Ye was afraid that he would catch a cold outside, so she brought Shou back to the base to sleep. Gu Lingqing went to the health center for rehabilitation. Shou fell asleep. Bai Ye went to the library to read and learn sign language. Days passed by one after another. Each day was peaceful and fulfilling. Gu Lingqing's body recovered day by day. After a month, he no longer needed a wheelchair. After 2 months, he could walk normally. He could also make simple pronunciations. This was simply a miracle for a person with a problem with the language center. As for Bai Ye, other than taking care of Shou and cooking well, she also mastered sign language. One day, after breakfast, Gu Lingqing said to Bai Ye, I want to leave. Bai Ye paused. Where? Gu Lingqing held her hand. Traveling. But what if something happens to your body? It's only been 2 months since you woke up. Also, the doctors think that you should be observed. Bai Ye was worried. She didn't want to bear any accidents. Look for him. Gu Lingqing wrote his name on the table. LV Bowie. Bai Ye thought about it and agreed. If they wanted to completely cure Gu Lingqing, they had to find LV Bowie first. Otherwise, Gu Lingqing's body would be like a time bomb that could explode at any time. Okay, I'll listen to you. We'll look for LV Bowie while traveling. Can we bring Shou with us? Bai Ye couldn't bear to leave her child. Gu Lingqing nodded. She called Xing Buhua. Brother, I'm Bai Ye. I know. I have your caller ID. Chapter 734. Bring Xiaoxia along. She's good at taking care of children and Shou is close to her. If anything happens to Lingqing, she can handle it immediately. That's good too. I can be more at ease. Bai Ye agreed readily. You don't have to worry about the others. I'll let them continue their research at the base. One more thing. Mom keeps asking you where you went. She asked me why I married someone else. I didn't dare to tell her before. I only said that you went abroad to study. Are you and Ling Qing going back to see Mom this time? Xing Buhua asked. Baya looked at Gu Lingqing and asked, Are we going back to see Mom this time? Gu Lingqing nodded. Yes. Okay. Baya replied to Xing Buhua. We'll go back to see Mom this time. Let's make an appointment. Let's meet tonight. I'll be back by noon. I'll go fishing in the lake and come back to drink fish soup. This year's fish should be fatter than last year's. Xing Buhua smiled. His eyes were warm. He still remembered the delicious taste of Baya's fish soup. It was strange. He used to dream of Baya often. But ever since Baya went to Gu Lingqing's side, he never dreamed of her. Sometimes he felt like her. He couldn't even remember what she looked like. Okay. See you tonight. Xing Buhua hung up. Gu Lingqing looked at Baya deeply. He wanted to say something but stopped. In the end, he didn't say anything. They packed their luggage and went back. Baya was still nervous. She hadn't left the base for a long time. She didn't know if Xing Buhua had told Mom about Gu Lingqing. She didn't know how Lu Shuang and Shen Yan were doing. She was afraid that she couldn't focus on anything, so she didn't contact them. She didn't care about them and didn't think about them. Gu Lingqing held her hand. I'm here. Baya smiled. He should be the one who was more nervous and worried. On the contrary, he was calm. Even if Mount Tai collapsed in front of him, his expression would not change. She could not be as calm as him. Mom will be happy to see you and Shosho, said Baya. I'm happy to see you too, Gu Lingqing said. Baya was happy to hear him say this. She leaned on his shoulder and said, Let's find LV Bowie first. After solving our worries, we'll choose a city we like to live in and occasionally go to a deserted island for vacation. How about that? Among them, you want to do something meaningful, Gu Lingqing corrected him. Baya agreed. We will do anything meaningful together. Asterisk unknowingly, the car had almost arrived at the manor. Baya started to feel nervous again. This feeling was very strange, but it was also a little excited and expectant. When the car arrived at the entrance, Baya realized that it was still the same guards. Madam. Mr. President. The guards greeted respectfully. They saw an unknown driver and a woman carrying a child in the car. He's not the president. He's your chief Gu, Baya explained. Gu Lingqing looked at the guards coldly. These people used to be his shadows. Even if he hadn't seen them for a year and a half, he could still recognize them at a glance. They were all excited when they saw Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing remained calm and said in a low voice, Thank you. It's Chief. Chief is back. Chief is finally back, the guards shouted excitedly with tears in their eyes. Gu Lingqing nodded. He didn't show much expression and ordered the driver, Let's go. The car continued to move forward. Baya wanted to laugh. This was Gu Lingqing, the man she loved deeply. No matter what was suitable, he would always look like a serious soldier. Soon, the car arrived at the entrance of the manor. Song Shiyu rushed out of the door. Zhang Xingyu and Lin Shulan followed behind her. Lin Shulan's face had been repaired twice. It was almost healed. There was only a slight color difference left. This problem could be fixed with makeup. Gu Lingqing got out of the car first. Baya got out of the car soon after. Then came Xiao Xia, who was carrying Shosho. Song Shiyu was very emotional. She walked to Gu Lingqing. Before she said anything, her tears flowed out. Lingqing, it's you. It's really you. Gu Lingqing looked at Song Shiyu deeply and replied, Yes, Mom. Song Shiyu covered her mouth and cried. Mom, we're back. Baya comforted her. I know. Actually, I knew it a long time ago. It's not Hua, it's not you. It's not Hua, it's your twin brother. You must be treating your illness outside, Song Shiyu said emotionally. Baya knew that Song Shiyu had something to say to Gu Lingqing. So, she didn't interrupt. How can I not know my own child? I don't want to say it. I don't want to make things difficult for you. Fortunately, we're back. Song Shiyu held Gu Lingqing's face. He was still cold, cool, and emotionless. Song Shiyu was very happy. This was Gu Lingqing. She turned around and held Bai Ya's hand. You child, how can you be so cruel? You left without even calling me. Do you know how worried I was? I was afraid that Lingqing was already dead. You went to die for love. Bai Ya's eyes turned red too. She didn't dare to say it. She didn't want to say it. She disappeared for no reason. At least those who cared about her would have some thoughts. Later on, she found out that Gu Lingqing was still alive but in a vegetative state. She still didn't dare to say it. After Gu Lingqing woke up, she accompanied him during his rehabilitation. She still didn't say it. She thought that she would come back when Gu Lingqing was fully recovered. So, she didn't say it. I'm sorry, Mom, Bai Ya apologized. Silly child, why would I blame you? It's good that you're back. You must have suffered outside. Song Shiyu felt bad for Bai Ya and Gu Lingqing. No, Big Brother took good care of us outside. It's me who worked hard, Bai Ya said. It's okay. I have you guys now. It doesn't matter at all, Song Shiyu said happily. She thought of something and looked at Shosho. Shosho had his teeth out. He was biting on the teething stick. He was very obedient. His eyes were wide open and he stared at Song Shiyu without blinking. He's Shosho, Gu Shoshi. He's 7 months old now. He can't walk or talk but he can crawl. He's a boy, Bai Ya explained. The child in your tummy is so big. That's great. Let Grandma carry him, Song Shiyu said and went to carry Shosho. Shosho had been carried by this person and that person since he was young, so he wasn't that shy. After he was carried by Song Shiyu, he didn't cry or make a fuss. He continued to bite on the teething stick. Song Shiyu had always wanted to carry a grandson. She loved this adorable Shosho. Old madam, it's cold outside. Come in and sit, Lin Shulon reminded. Yes, yes, come in quickly, Song Shiyu said and carried Shosho into the house. Madam, Lin Shulon called Bai Ya. His eyes were red. We all missed you. Chapter 735. Bai Ya didn't want to talk to him. He walked past him and went to play with Shosho. As long as you say the word, I'm willing to be his follower. Zhang Xingyu saluted Gu Lingqing. Aren't you awesome now that you're the head of the Imperial Guard? The president trusts you a lot. Follower, who are you trying to fool? Lin Shulon said sarcastically. Bai Ya looked at Zhang Xingyu. Follow the president and do your best. Don't betray him again. The president is your brother. It's the same to be loyal to him. Zhang Xingyu wanted to say something but stopped. He scratched his head. I feel guilty too. I want to follow him since he's still alive. You make it sound nice. But, the president doesn't want you anymore. Lin Shulon said sarcastically. He's the same. Gu Lingqing said these 3 words. Zhang Xingyu looked down. He felt guilty and looked at Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing had always been cold and callous. The way he looked at him was also very sharp and resolute. Zhang Xingyu lowered his head. Then, I'll go out first. If you're free, help me set up a tent by the lake. We'll go fishing later. Bai Ya said. Sure, I'll go right now. Zhang Xingyu smiled. When he saw that they weren't looking at him, his smile froze. Madam, you don't know. He's now the president's favorite. Lin Shulon complained. He's gentle and not overbearing. He's reliable and capable. No matter who he follows, he'll be popular. Personality determines fate. What about you? Do you still like him? Bai Ya asked. Lin Shulon's eyes turned red. I don't like him. Bai Ya smiled. You like him. If you want to get what you want, you have to face your feelings first. If you can't get what you want, give up. There will be someone more suitable for you. Like hate, complain and feel wronged. Life is short. It's a waste of youth and emotions. Lin Shulon lowered his head and cried. He didn't like me in the past. He definitely won't like me now. So you're angry at him. You're angry at yourself. You're angry at him. You're angry at him because you don't want to be angry at yourself. You're to hurt his character and pull him down. In fact, whether he did anything wrong or not, a fine bird chooses its own nest. Everyone is fighting and paying for their own future. Baiya directly said what Lin Shulan was thinking. Lin Shulan stopped crying and looked at Baiya. When he met Baiya's indifferent gaze, he felt a little guilty. Let him go. Let yourself go. I'll teach you how to put on makeup these few days. There will be good boys by your side. My mom knows many good boys. She'll introduce them to you, Baiya comforted. Song Shiyu was coaxing Shosho. When she heard Baiya talking about her, she turned around and smiled at Lin Shulan. There are many tall and handsome boys in the Gu family. You're my goddaughter. They'll definitely fight for you. Lin Shulan sniffled and choked. I know. I give up. I give up on him. Since you've decided to love someone, love him wholeheartedly. Otherwise, you'll be hurting him. People who hurt others don't deserve to be happy, Baiya continued. Yes, I know. Thank you, madam, for your teachings, Lin Shulan nodded. You're a kind, dutiful, righteous, and loyal girl. You'll find a good man to be with. When Lin Shulan heard what Baiya said, he felt much better and relaxed. Previously, he felt like he was stuck in a dead end. He couldn't get what he wanted. He felt bad and inferior. He became even more bitter and mean, which made him a scary person. Isn't Hua Yi coming this afternoon? Song Shiyu asked. Baiya nodded. He'll come. Then I'll go out to buy groceries now. I'll cook for you tonight. Old madam, you can accompany young master and young master. I'll go out to buy groceries. It'll be quick, Lin Shulan said. That's good too. Thank you for your hard work. Song Shiyu couldn't bear to part with Shosho. Baiya and Gu Lingqing looked at each other. Now that Song Shiyu loved Shosho so much, Song Shiyu couldn't bear to let them leave. They went fishing. Why don't we bring Xiao Xian back? Baiya said to Gu Lingqing. It'll be good for him to accompany Mom. Gu Lingqing held her hand. Where's Xiao Yan? Do you want to see him? We often talk about whether it's more important to raise a child or to teach them. Some people give birth but don't raise them, and some people give birth but don't teach them. Xiao Yan likes his adoptive parents more. Although they're just farmers, their love for him is real. So, Gu Lingqing looked at Baiya. We still have things to do. It's good to let Xiao Yan's adoptive parents take care of him. They might be ignorant, but at least they're kind. We can send teachers to help them. If one day, we come back and never leave again, we can bring Xiao Yan and his parents over. Speaking of life, what do you think? Gu Lingqing replied. I'll listen to you. Baiya smiled and hugged Gu Lingqing's arm. I felt very lonely when I was young. My parents are gone and I felt lonely too. It's only after I had you that I felt that I'm not the only person in this world. In the future, when you recover from your illness and stop taking medicine, we can have a few more children. Everything else is fake. The children will stay. In the future, after we leave, they can still discuss with each other and won't be helpless, okay? Gu Lingqing looked at her gently. Okay. After a while, they arrived at the lakeside. Zhang Xingyu had already set up the tent and set up the table, chair, stove, kettle and cups. It looks like you were here a year ago. Baiya sighed. Gu Lingqing smiled and took her hand to sit on the chair. He put the bait on the hook and passed the fishing rod to Baiya. Baiya was fishing in the hole they had dug. At noon, the weather turned from cloudy to sunny. The sun was shining brightly and it felt warm on their bodies. Baiya's heart felt warm too. After a while, she felt a little sleepy. She leaned on Gu Lingqing's shoulder to sleep. He was here for everything anyway. 10 minutes later, she fell asleep. Gu Lingqing called her. Xiaoya. Baiya opened her eyes and looked at him. Do you have fish? If you're tired, go to the tent and sleep for a while. I'll call you when the time comes, Gu Lingqing said. Okay, I'll sleep for a while. I'll sleep for an hour. Baiya was woken up. She felt a little dizzy and fell asleep after climbing into the tent. After Gu Lingqing caught 3 fish, he saw Xing Buhua's car. Xing Buhua's car stopped by the lake. He got out of the car and looked at Gu Lingqing. He smiled slightly. Where is she? Chapter 736. Xing Buhua looked at Gu Lingqing who was walking over. He couldn't help but feel a little nervous. He smiled. We'll leave in a few days. Thank you for your hard work, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. You really sound like a big brother when you talk. I'm the big brother, all right? Xing Buhua said with a smile. Gu Lingqing looked at Xing Buhua deeply. If I die, take care of her. Xing Buhua stopped smiling and looked at Gu Lingqing. You won't die. Don't talk nonsense. If you survive a disaster, you're bound to have good fortune later on. Gu Lingqing hesitated. In the end, he didn't say anything. He went back and continued fishing. Xing Buhua looked at Gu Lingqing in confusion. They were twins. He couldn't understand Gu Lingqing at all. Gu Lingqing's silence was infuriating. He sat next to Gu Lingqing. Lang Tong has been promoted to be the vice president. I've transferred your good brother, Su Chonghao, over to your previous military base. I've been assigned to the Air Force. Do you want to see Su Chonghao before you leave? Gu Lingqing shook his head. He's righteous. He's reliable. Xing Buhua smiled. If you need anything, remember to call me. I'll always be your support. Gu Lingqing looked at Xing Buhua. His eyes were deep. He then looked at Bai Ye. I'm worthy of the military and the country. The only person I owe now is her. I'm sorry. Xing Buhua patted Gu Lingqing's shoulder. What I want most now is for you and her to be happy. So, even if you die, she won't want me to take care of her. Otherwise, she would have let me take care of her long ago. So, don't let her live alone. She's too pitiful. I may not live long. Gu Lingqing said what he didn't say before. Don't talk nonsense. You'll get better. The bullet went through your head and you've come back to life. What else can't you get over? Xing Buhua said in a low voice. Don't even think about giving her to me. To be honest, I really felt that her determination to me from the beginning made me know that it was impossible to be with her. I loved her. I don't love him anymore. I only admire him. Bai Ye closed his eyes and swallowed his bitterness. There was bitterness in his eyes, but he didn't open them. She knew that Gu Lingqing always had something on his mind, but he didn't say it. It turned out that he felt that he didn't have long to live. For him to say this, there must be something else that he was unwilling to say. He didn't want others to find out, and he had to bear the pain himself. Her heart ached. Gu Lingqing was so good, so good. If he had done a lot of wrong things in his previous life, he had done so many good things in this life. He should have paid off all his debts. Why did he have to suffer so much? Didn't Grandmaster Gu say that the end was the beginning? Was it not over yet? She didn't say anything because Gu Lingqing didn't want her to know. She pretended that she didn't know anything. Time passed. They didn't speak anymore. Gu Lingqing caught 2 more fish and Xing Buhua helped him. Bai Ye opened the tent and looked at Xing Buhua. He smiled and said politely, "Hello, big brother." Xing Buhua smiled back. "Big brother, I want to see Shen Yan before I leave. Is that okay?" Bai Ye asked. Xing Buhua nodded. "I'll arrange it when you want to see him. You'll let him go after a year, right?" Bai Ye wanted to confirm. "Xiaoya, I don't want to lie to you. The situation now is very serious. If he still has ambitions, I'll be letting him go. After what happened previously, it's impossible for him to be the president. There's no need to be afraid. He can't be the president, but he can be behind the scenes. There are many people who are secretly his people. When he says something, he can save whoever he wants. If you let him go and he becomes an advisor one day, I'll come back and be your advisor. Let him go," Bai Ye begged. "He's your friend's lover. I don't want you to be in a difficult position." Xing Buhua rejected tactfully. "As long as you're strong enough, you don't have to be afraid of the other party. If you're not strong enough, how can you achieve what you want?" Gu Lingqing said and looked at Xing Buhua. Xing Buhua looked at Gu Lingqing. "So, you also want me to let Shen Yan go?" Gu Lingqing nodded. "I understand. 1 year later, I'll find a chance to let him go," Xing Buhua compromised. For a moment, he felt that he had been deserted. Even the people closest to him didn't want to help him. He laughed bitterly. It didn't matter. Everything he had done was partly for their sake, so he would do as they wanted. "If anything happens to me, bury me beside my parents," Xing Buhua said to Gu Lingqing in a low voice. He didn't want to say anything else and walked towards the villa. Bai Ya and Gu Lingqing were in a bad mood. She held Gu Lingqing's hand and looked up at Gu Lingqing. I promise you, if Shen Yan really betrays us, I'll stand by Xing Buhua's side and protect him with my life. Because this is what we owe him. Gu Lingqing nodded and held her hand tightly. He took the bucket and went back to the villa with Bai Ya. When Song Shiyu saw Bai Ya coming in, she said happily, Shosho is so easy to take care of. He fell asleep in my arms. He's still sleeping now. I've put him in your room. That girl called Xiaofan is accompanying him. Yeah, Shosho is also very popular in the base. Everyone wants to sleep with him. He's not shy with strangers and is very obedient most of the time, Bai Ya explained. Then, sleep with me tonight, Song Shiyu said happily. Shosho needs to drink milk twice at night. I'm worried that Mom's body won't be able to take it, Bai Ya said. Just one day, not every day. Just one day. Song Shiyu made a one sign. She really wanted it. Bai Ya and Gu Lingqing looked at each other and nodded. After dinner, Gu Lingqing wanted to accompany Bai Ya to visit Shen Yan. Suddenly, he said that he wouldn't go. Bai Ya didn't know what he was thinking, but he must have his reasons for not going. They still trusted each other. Then I'll go first. It's a bit far and I won't be back too early. You don't have to wait for me. Rest early, Bai Ya said to Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing nodded. Okay. She sat in Xing Buhua's car. She was a little worried about Gu Lingqing. She remembered that when she left, there was a pinhole camera installed at home. She didn't know if it could still be used or if it had been removed. She took out her phone and tried. The surveillance was actually still working. She immediately found Gu Lingqing. She saw that Gu Lingqing was wiping something with a napkin. Then, he took the napkin to the washroom and washed it away. She replayed the video and watched it over and over again. Her hands were shaking and she felt dizzy. No wonder he suddenly changed his mind when he said he would accompany her. It turned out that he was having a nosebleed. Chapter 737. The United States has sent out the news, but LV Bowie hasn't come out. Country A has also sent out the news, but LV Bowie hasn't shown up either. If he still doesn't show up, he's either dead, or he won't show up again, Xing Buhua said seriously. I must find him. Do you have secret research on the virus and the antidote? Bai Ya asked, choking with sobs. Xing Buhua sensed something was wrong and turned to look at her. Bai Ya's eyes became redder, but her gaze was firm. There seemed to be mist flowing in her eyes. Yes, what's wrong? Lingqing. Xing Buhua didn't want to think about it. I promised him that even if he's dead, I won't give up on myself. But I want to try my best, Bai Ya said with a smile. Tears flowed down her cheeks. What's wrong with Lingqing? Xing Buhua asked seriously. He doesn't want us to know, so let's pretend we don't know, Bai Ya said. After that, she couldn't control her emotions and cried. Xing Buhua felt sorry for her and silently handed her a tissue. Bai Ya took the tissue and thought of the scene of Gu Lingqing wiping away the blood in the video. Her heart ached. When he was at the base, he never needed anyone to help him, nor did he need anyone's help, nor did he want to be a burden. He did everything by himself and even helped her take care of Shosho. He looked like a normal person. She knew that he had something on his mind, but she didn't know that it was because he was hiding his illness. It was no wonder that he often hid himself. She didn't want to burden him. She wanted to do what he wanted, but in the end, he was so sick, but she didn't know it. What are you going to do now? Xing Buhua asked. I don't have to find LV Bowie. LV Bowie was saved because he was the only one who knew where the biological weapon was. In other words, the person who can find the secret research organization is the one who wanted to know about the biological weapon. I just need to tell the public that the biological weapon is here. As long as I'm here, they will automatically come to me, Bai Ya said rationally. It's too dangerous for you. There are too many people who want to get their hands on biochemical weapons, Xing Buhua said worriedly. I'm not afraid of danger. I'm not afraid of death. I'm just afraid that I can't be with him. If I die in front of him. Bai Ya didn't continue. She was also afraid that Gu Lingqing would be sad and blame himself. She didn't want him to be sad, so she changed her words. I won't die. What they want is the biochemical weapon. If I die, they will have nothing. Are you willing to help me? Will you be able to escape unscathed after they get their hands on the biological weapons? Xing Buhua was worried. If LV Bowie can escape unscathed, I can too. No, Hua, this is my wish. It's also the most direct method I can think of. Can you help me? Baiya pleaded. Xing Buhua was silent as he looked at her reddened eyes. She looked so soft, yet so strong. His heart ached faintly, but he also understood that he had to help her. Otherwise, Ling Qing would definitely die. He couldn't let Ling Qing die. All right, I'll help you. I'm already secretly researching the antidote and the virus. I can give you the previous ones. I'm not afraid that they will harm the world after they get their hands on the biological weapons, Xing Buhua said in a low voice. Thank you, and I'm sorry, Baiya said while crying. You didn't do me wrong, and you don't have to thank me. This biological weapon was originally yours. However, if something happened to her, and Shan Yan betrayed them, she was also very worried about Xing Buhua's safety. Her feelings for him were very strange. It was a little less than love, but a little more than friendship. It was the third kind of feeling that they talked about. No, Hua! She called his name, but a lot of words were stuck in her throat, and she couldn't say them out. Xing Buhua smiled and said, Baiya, I don't love you anymore. I think I liked you before because you were too perfect. Your looks, your personality, your way of doing things, they were all what I imagined, so I was infatuated with you. It could also be that Ling Qing is dying, and I was afraid that you would be sad, so I used the Ling identity to love you. Qing's identity loves you. Now that Ling Qing has returned, I should also break away from this role. Baiya nodded. Thank you, no, Hua. You said a lot of thank you and sorry today, but you don't have to. Even if there is no love between you and me, there is still family between me and Ling Qing. I hope that his good mood is the same as yours. I will give you the antidote for the virus later. Keep it safe. I will always be your support. Xing Buhua said in a low voice. Things had not happened yet, but he had already predicted the danger that Baiya would encounter later. He had to protect them. The car continued to move forward. Baiya turned on the surveillance camera and continued to watch Gu Ling Qing. He was already lying on the bed, putting ice on his head. The ice was very cold, and the skin would go numb in 3 minutes. However, Gu Ling Qing thought that he was in a better state when she came back, so he had been putting ice on his head. When she saw that, her heart ached even more. She couldn't bear to look, but she was afraid that if she missed one more look, she would really miss one more look. She had never felt that time was so torturous. She was anxious to go to Gu Lingqing's side and take care of him. Finally, she made it to Shan Yan's side. Shan Yan was locked in the 3rd floor underground. The soldiers were guarding it layer by layer, and there was a gas chamber and a trap room. If anyone came to save him, he would be the first to die. Xing Buhua was very guarded against Shan Yan. She wanted Xing Buhua to let Shan Yan go, which was to make things difficult for him. However, Xing Buhua actually agreed. She felt even more guilty towards Xing Buhua. Perhaps, the decision in the next second was wrong, but she wanted to do it. The soldiers opened the door of the room where Shan Yan was locked. Shan Yan sat in front of the desk with his back to them, reading a book elegantly. The life of imprisonment did not make him decadent. Instead, it made him more calm and introverted. Baiya couldn't help thinking of Li Yu, a historical figure in a certain country. He was also a king of a generation, with outstanding charm, literary talent, and poetry. No one could match him. He was defeated by the Song Kingdom and lived in seclusion for 3 years. But he wrote the famous Beauty Yu. When will the spring flowers and autumn moon be over? How much of the past is known? Last night, the east wind blew, and the old country was unbearable to look back. The carved railings and jade walls should still be there, but the vermilion has changed. How much worry can a man have? Just like the spring water flowing east. Shan Yan, Baiya shouted. Shan Yan's body froze. He turned around and looked at Baiya in surprise. He smiled and said, "Long time no see." Baiya walked to Shan Yan and looked at him. He didn't lose weight, nor did he gain weight. He still maintained the same figure as before. Between his brows, he was high-spirited and unparalleled. He was still the Shan Yan she knew. "How long have you been in this place?" Baya asked. Shan Yen looked at the calendar on the wall. It should be 7 months and 3 days. Let me guess, you can't be with Xing Buhua. So, the only possibility that you are still alive is that Gu Lingqing is also alive. Chapter 738. Can I correct you? She is the only one I have succeeded in so far, and she is also the one I want, Shan Yen said with a smile. Baya was stunned. She looked at his bright face and asked, Are you really willing to leave your position? I didn't want to be the president in the first place, but I had to do it for the benefit of the people behind my family. When I was the president, I married someone I didn't want to marry and hurt the person I love. Do you think Lu Shuang is suitable to be the president's wife? She will have no freedom and will be unhappy every day. She will also be under pressure because the pressure will drive her crazy, Shan Yen explained. I don't think Hua is following your old path. Is he going to marry the daughter of the Xiang family? Shan Yen guessed. Nothing can hide from your eyes. Do you have any good suggestions? Baya asked. There are 3 daughters in the Xiang family. The eldest daughter is already married. The second daughter is a social butterfly. To put it bluntly, she is a public transport. If Xing Buhua marries her, he can wear 1,000 cuckolds. The third daughter is arrogant, barbaric and ruthless. When one of the maids did something wrong, she cut the maid's hand. When one of the maids did something wrong, she put the maid's hand into boiling oil, Shan Yen said calmly. So, these 3 girls are not suitable. Baya frowned. She was even more worried about Xing Buhua and felt even more guilty. Yes, I thought about the Xiang family when I wanted to form an alliance through marriage. But I can't flatter these 3 girls, so I chose the Hua family, which was on the decline at that time. However, if Xing Buhua really wants an alliance through marriage, there is one girl who is suitable. I also considered her at that time, Shan Yen said thoughtfully. Who? The eldest daughter of the Xiang family gave birth to a daughter when she was 18. But the other party's family was poor. Due to various reasons, they didn't get together and married a rich man. This daughter stayed with her father. Do you want Hua to marry the daughter of the eldest daughter? Baya is worried. Will the Xiang family acknowledge this child? Her father was sick and she didn't want to leave him. She stayed by his side and worked hard to support the family. At that time, when I looked for her, her father was seriously ill. I promised to give her money. She said that her father was seriously ill and that if I helped her because of him, I wouldn't be able to help her. If he left for money, his illness would only worsen. Now that more than 3 years have passed, her father should have passed away. It sounds like this girl is quite strong and has a good character. Baya pondered. The eldest daughter of the Xiang family has always felt guilty towards her younger daughter. The problem is, when her father was seriously ill and needed money, she didn't return to the Xiang family. Now that her father is dead, she probably won't return to the Xiang family. It's up to you to convince her. Shan Yen suggested. Thank you, Shan Yen. If it wasn't for Xing Buhua, your position would be stable and you could still be with Lu Shuang. Shan Yen smiled. There are no ifs in this world. When you are in a high position, all you want to do is not let yourself fall. It's too stressful. When I was in power, I didn't rest more than a month. I worked overtime almost every day and I only slept for more than 6 hours. Since Xing Buhua is in such a high position, he will bear all these responsibilities. He promised me that he will let you go after a year and treat Lu Shuang well, Baya said gently. If you died, I think I would be imprisoned until I die. But if you come back, I will definitely be released. I'm betting that you are still alive. Shan Yen smiled. After you get out, can you not go against Xing Buhua? Baya asked worriedly. After I get out, I will pick up Lu Shuang and go to country X. I will change my identity and live a commoner's life. Power and influence are not what I want. I will leave them to those who want them. A new prime minister replaces the old prime minister, and a new emperor replaces the old emperor. It's easy to attack a city, but difficult to defend it. Those who have been separated know best, Shan Yen said calmly. She had wanted to hypnotize Shan Yen. Whether he was acting or not, his micro-expressions, his eyes, and his words had touched her and convinced her. She didn't do it. Let's endure for a while. After all, it will take time for you to escape. Shen Yan nodded. Help me see Lu Shuang. I miss him very much. Baya nodded. Okay. I will leave first. Take care. Take care, Shen Yan said. Baya turned around and walked out of the room. She felt a little more relaxed than when she came in. As long as Shen Yan and Xing Buhua didn't become enemies, everything in the future was still beautiful. As long as she could cure Gu Lingqing. When she reached the ground, Xing Buhua gave her a box. Everything is inside. Do you need me to hide it in the original place? Help me hide it in a place. I will write the address for you. Destroy it after you read it, Baya said. She took out a notebook, wrote the address on the paper and passed it to Xing Buhua. Xing Buhua destroyed it as soon as he saw it. I will release the news after I let these things go. The sooner the better. I am worried about Lingqing's situation. Also, I may be arrested. Don't worry about me. Take care of Lingqing. I know what to do. It's best not to let Lingqing know about this. I am afraid that he will feel guilty and blame himself. He is too responsible, Baya said. Xing Buhua nodded. Also, Shen Yan said, I know the content of your conversation. Xing Buhua interrupted Baya. Even if Shen Yan is acting, I will let him go according to the agreement. Are you going to marry the girl he mentioned? Baya asked softly. Xing Buhua nodded. He is right. The 3 daughters of the Xiang family are not good. But I have promised to marry the youngest daughter. No. Baya felt that it was not worth it. Think twice. Xing Buhua nodded. Go back. It's late. Please take care of Lingqing. Okay. When Baya returned home, it was already 12 p.m. She looked at Gu Lingqing on the bed. He had removed the ice pack and seemed to be asleep. She knew that he was not asleep. She didn't say anything. She went to the bathroom and took a shower. She lay down beside him and put her hand on his warm body. Lingqing, I love you, Baya said in a hoarse voice. Gu Lingqing held her hand and turned over to face her. But he didn't open his eyes. Baya snuggled into his arms. She took a deep breath and smelled the familiar scent on his body. Let's not give up on the future. Besides grasping today, we have to take care of ourselves. The longer we live, the longer we can be together. Gu Lingqing's Adam's apple moved. He opened his eyes. He was determined and focused. What if I become someone you don't like in order to live? Chapter 739. I know. Go to sleep, it's late, Gu Lingqing said gently. Baya smiled. Okay. She didn't sleep well at night. She was afraid that he would leave, afraid that something would happen to him. She woke up a few times and only went back to sleep when she saw him lying beside her. In the morning, when he woke up, she woke up with a start and looked at him. Morning. Gu Lingqing's face was pale. He nodded and rushed into the washroom. Baya heard the strange water pouring and her whole body trembled. Her heart felt like it was being cut by a knife. But she didn't dare to look, afraid that she would break down if she saw it. But if she didn't look, she was worried that something had happened to Gu Lingqing and she didn't know. She walked to the washroom slowly. Her legs were weak and every step was as heavy as gold. Finally, she reached the door of the washroom. She paused and hesitated. Just as she was about to open the door, Gu Lingqing opened it. He smiled at her and gave her the washroom. Baya watched as he prepared the toothpaste for her. She looked at the dustbin. There didn't seem to be anything strange. She opened the toilet and saw the unflushed toilet paper with bloodstains on it. She felt that it was hard to breathe. She couldn't let this go on. Gu Lingqing deliberately hid his illness and didn't seek treatment. His condition would worsen. She quickly brushed her teeth and washed her face. She opened the door and went out. He was wearing his clothes. She walked in front of him and helped him button up. Lingqing, there's something you might not know. When you were not around, I installed a pinhole camera at home. Gu Lingqing looked at her deeply and stroked her hair. Don't worry about me. I'm not worried. Everyone will die one day. I just feel heartache. Even if you're dead, my heart will still hurt when I think of you. I will definitely save you. It's just a little nosebleed. It's not a big deal. How long has it been bleeding? Baya asked. Coincidentally, Coincidence. Baya was a little angry and pushed Gu Lingqing away. You're still lying to me? Gu Lingqing reached out and hugged her. He pressed the back of her head against his chest and said in a low voice, I'll be fine. Trust me. Baya didn't want to lose her temper. It was useless. Not only could she not solve the problem firmly, she would also hurt the person she loved. He said it would be fine, but she didn't believe him. Let's go back to the base first. No matter what, we have to stop the bleeding first. It's definitely not good to keep having nosebleeds, Baya said. Gu Lingqing's eyes darkened as he nodded. Let's go say goodbye to Mom, Baya said, holding his hand and walking out. Song Shiyu had already prepared breakfast. Seeing them come out hand in hand, she was very happy. It's time for breakfast. I've made your favorite food. Gu Lingqing and Baya ate quietly. No one spoke. The room was filled with Shosho's babbling. It was very lively. Baya looked at Shosho. She didn't want him to lose his father so soon. Thinking of Gu Lingqing's condition, she felt sad and couldn't eat anymore. Gu Lingqing held her hand and looked at her gently. Her eyes were full of love. She didn't blame him for hiding it. She just felt sorry for him. I'll tell Mom later, Baya said. Gu Lingqing closed his eyes. After breakfast, Song Shiyu was busy in the kitchen. Baya followed him into the kitchen and helped Song Shiyu. Just leave it. I'll do these. Song Shiyu smiled. Mom, we're leaving today, Baya said. Song Shiyu paused. Why? Isn't it good at home? It's not that. It's good. We've always wanted to come back. It's just that Lingqing's condition isn't completely cured yet. We still have to go to the doctor, Baya told the truth. Song Shiyu understood. It's more important to go to the doctor. Where are you going to the doctor? Can I go to see you? We're at the base. If you miss us, you can tell Buhua. He knows where we are, Baya said. Oh, what about Shosho? Are you taking Shosho with you? Song Shiyu said reluctantly. I've discussed it with Lingqing. Xiao Yan is being taken care of by his foster parents, but Xiao Xian needs you to take care of him. I'll have to trouble you to take care of Xiao Xian, Baya said. We're family. There's no trouble. It's good that Xiao Xian is with me. Remember to call us often. Don't disappear for more than a year like before. Okay, we'll call you often, Baya promised. Song Shiyu knew that she couldn't stop them even if she wanted to. You're all sensible children. If you weren't forced to, you wouldn't have chosen to leave. All I can do is support you. Thank you, Mom. Baya was touched. She hugged Song Shiyu. I've never had motherly love since I was young. It's you who made me feel motherly love. Song Shiyu hugged Baya too. If only I didn't oppose you and Lingqing back then. I don't blame you. It's fate. Mom, let's go. I'll take good care of Lingqing, Baya said with teary eyes. I believe in you. Song Shiyu patted Baya's back. Baya came out of the kitchen. His phone rang. It was Gu Lingqing. She was surprised. She looked around for Gu Lingqing but didn't see him. She picked up the phone. She had a bad feeling. Lingqing, where are you? Xiaoya, I'll text you later, Gu Lingqing said and hung up. Baya asked Lin Shulan anxiously. Where's Gu Lingqing? Where did he go? Lin Shulan was confused. He went out. I think he was with Zhang Xingyu. Baya didn't even have time to put on a coat. She rushed out of the door. Gu Lingqing was nowhere to be seen. She called Zhang Xingyu. Zhang Xingyu hung up. Baya was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. She wanted to call Xing Buhua. Gu Lingqing had sent her a text. She opened it immediately. No, Hua called me last night and told me what you were going to do. Baya was anxious. She called Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing also hung up. She had no choice but to send a text to Gu Lingqing. We promised that no matter what happens, we'll face it together. I don't need my woman to take risks for me. Stay at home and wait for me to come back, Gu Lingqing said simply. Baya was so anxious that her brain was burning. Gu Lingqing, don't leave me, okay? She waited for a minute. Gu Lingqing didn't answer her. She called Gu Lingqing, but his phone was turned off. Baiya was so angry that she smashed the phone on the floor. You're always like this. You always insist on doing things your own way. Gu Lingqing, I don't want you anymore. I don't want you anymore. After shouting, she picked up the phone with the broken screen and made a call. Xing Buhua answered the call. Chapter 740. I've discussed it with him. I don't think you should be responsible for this. Gu Lingqing is the only one who can hand over the biological weapon and escape unscathed, Xing Buhua said. How can he escape unscathed? If he hands over the biological weapon, will those people let him go? They can't, Baiya said anxiously. I'll do everything in my power to protect him. Then protect him. Why let him go alone? Do you know how much trouble he'll be in if he goes alone? Previously, LV Bowie had already escaped. This time, they wouldn't let LV Bowie escape so easily. Were they going to watch him die? If he dies like this, I'd rather stay with him for another year and watch him die of illness. Xing Buhua, why did you tell him? Why did you tell him? We had a good agreement. Why did you do this? Baiya was very upset. Baiya, be rational. I also wanted to find someone from the special forces to do it, but Lingqing didn't agree. He said that it's life. His life isn't more precious than others. So, he values other people's lives more than his own. Do you think he'll use a biological weapon that will endanger the entire human race in exchange for his own life? No, he won't do that, Baiya said with certainty. His eyes were red. Xing Buhua suddenly understood. Wait a minute. He hung up immediately and called Zhang Xingyu. Zhang Xingyu's phone was switched off. He called Gu Lingqing, but Gu Lingqing's phone was also switched off. He called his people and ordered, activate the third eye immediately and find Gu Lingqing and Zhang Xingyu. He had just hung up when Baiya called again. Xing Buhua picked up the call and said guiltily, I'm sorry Baiya. I don't know Lingqing as well as you do. I can't get through to Lingqing now. I can't even get through to Zhang Xingyu. Baiya was breathing heavily. He was so angry that he couldn't say a word. Could she blame Xing Buhua? What's the use of blaming him? Could she ask Xing Buhua for help? The third eye originally belonged to Gu Lingqing. She didn't think that Xing Buhua could find Gu Lingqing through the third eye. After all, the third eye had an account, which only Gu Lingqing knew. Just a phone call from him could cause the heavenly eye to collapse temporarily. She hung up the phone and squatted on the ground. The more she thought about it, the angrier she got. The more she thought about it, the more wronged she felt. But most of all, she was worried. She just squatted and didn't move. Lin Shulan was worried about Baiya. He came over with a down jacket and put it on Baiya. He asked in confusion, Madam, what happened? Baiya buried her face between her knees and didn't want to speak. Lin Shulan accompanied her. From morning to noon, Baiya was still squatting like this. Madam, your feet will go numb if you squat like this, Lin Shulan said worriedly. Her feet had gone numb long ago. She couldn't move. But compared with the turbulent waves in her head, it was nothing. Gu Lingqing had abandoned her just like that. He had abandoned her, right? Was it because she had been waiting for him, so he had no fear? Just like this, he just left without saying a word. After a few words, he resolutely turned off the phone. Didn't he consider her feelings? Wasn't he afraid that she would be worried? Baiya stood up. Her feet were so numb that she couldn't stand. Lin Shulan immediately supported Baiya. Baiya staggered forward step by step. She had an urge to rebel. She wanted to live as she pleased, just like them. She sat down on a chair by the lake. Lin Shulan knocked on Baiya's legs to let the blood flow so that her feet wouldn't go numb. Baiya looked at the lake. Her chest was still moving up and down. She picked up her phone and sent a text message to Gu Lingqing. I'll give you 24 hours. Come back in 24 hours. I'll pretend nothing happened today. No matter what happens, we'll face it together. After 24 hours, we'll get a divorce. I'll remarry within a week. From now on, it has nothing to do with me. Don't forget, I can hypnotize myself. I mean what I say. Shulan, go back. Take good care of my mom and Shosho, Baiya said in a low voice. Lin Shulan was worried about Bai Ya's current state. Madam, it's noon. We should go back for lunch. Bai Ya glanced at her. Are you not going to listen to me? Madam, don't scare me. I'm worried that something might happen to you. Lin Shulan's eyes were red. Bai Ya looked at her. Her face was ruined because of her. Bai Ya blamed herself in her heart. She sighed softly. I'm fine. I just want to be alone to think calmly. You can go back first. Then, madam, remember to call me if anything happens, Lin Shulan said worriedly. Bai Ya nodded. Lin Shulan went back this time. Bai Ya just sat there. She looked at her phone every minute. She looked at her phone every minute. She looked at her phone for an hour. She felt like she was going crazy. She resisted the urge to look at her phone. However, she did not give up. She still wanted to see if there were any messages from Gu Lingqing. There were still no messages. Her phone rang. Her hope was ignited. She saw that it was Xing Buhua's caller ID. Her eyes dimmed again. She could not hide her disappointment. She picked up the call, hoping that there was good news from Xing Buhua. Xiao Ya, Lingqing paralyzed the Heavenly Eye. Do you know the account and password of the Heavenly Eye? Xing Buhua asked. Bai Ya's heart sank. She knew that Gu Lingqing had the ability to paralyze the Heavenly Eye. But when she really heard the news, it was as if a bucket of ice water had been poured over her head. He was really so heartless. Did he not want to be found by them even if he died? She was so dispensable in his eyes. How could he abandon and give up on her so easily? For the so-called hatred of his parents, he abandoned his promise to her. Now, for the sake of the world, he abandoned his promise to her again. Why had she persevered for so many years? Why had she protected him for so many years? What was she in his eyes? What he had left her was an endless weight. She could give up everything for him. He could give up on her for something else. Was he too compassionate or was she too narrow-minded? She did not want to wait any longer. The longer she waited, the more aggrieved she felt. Even the sadness she was feeling now became the strength of her anger. She hung up and sent another message to Gu Lingqing. I'm serious. If you don't come back in 24 hours, I'll cut off all ties with you. I won't wait for you anymore. I won't love you anymore. I'll cut you out of my heart. I won't leave any space for you anymore. Do you understand? Still, no one answered her. All right, she would wait for the last time. The sun set and the sky darkened. Lin Shulan looked for her a few times. Seeing that she was in a daze, he did not want to disturb her. Song Shiyu came over personally and sat beside her. Chapter 741. Actually, he won't come back, right? Bai Ya asked softly. Lingqing knew what he wanted since he was young, and he would walk the path that he wanted. Actually, he didn't have to work so hard. His father could have saved him 10 years of hard work. But he wasn't willing and stubbornly followed his own path. He started as a special forces soldier and became a general, Song Shiyu said. He has always been stubborn. He only listens to himself and doesn't care about what others think. He doesn't care whether it's right or wrong. He's responsible to his friends, to the military, to the country and to the world. He only owes his family and his lover, Bai Ya said angrily. Maybe to him, family and lover are a part of him. So we deserve to be abandoned by him. Bai Ya's eyes turned red again. They were red like blood. Song Shiyu held Bai Ya's hand. I understand why you're angry. You waited for him for so long. He left because he didn't want you to worry. He left not because he didn't want me to worry but because he was afraid that I would use the biochemical weapon to exchange for his life. As long as he left, we wouldn't be able to find him and I wouldn't use the biochemical weapon to exchange for his life. He was responsible for the world. He's such a righteous child. Since he was young, he didn't want to accept what his family gave him and he didn't want to steal from others. Even when he was promoted, he did it step by step. He could have been the president but he didn't want to. He supported Shen Yen. Forgive him, Song Shiyu said. I won't forgive him. If he can abandon me so easily, he doesn't deserve my love. He loves the world, but the world might not know. He doesn't love me, but I know, Bai Ya said resolutely, tears flowing down her cheeks. Song Shiyu knew that Baiya had been wrong this time. Maybe this is the fate of us women. Women want small relationships but men want more than we can imagine, Song Shiyu said helplessly. It's just that what Gu Lingqing and Gu Tianhang want is not something we can give them, Baiya said coldly. Do you still remember what you said to me when you were kidnapped by Tianhang 7 years ago? You said, what a woman wants is a man's care and love. If there is no love in a marriage, it will be the grave. I suffered for a long time because of what you said, because I knew that Tianhang didn't marry me because he loved me. After that, I didn't feel any love from him. But, didn't I live my life like that? Song Shiyu said softly. People only live once. My mother, because of her obsession with love, she went crazy her whole life. Even when she died, that man didn't even turn back to look at her. I don't want to live like that for the rest of my life. I promised him that I wouldn't give up on myself, but every time I think about how he abandoned me, I feel terrible. Someone was going to explode. In the past I have always lived for others. This is the last time I will wait for him. After this, I will only live for myself, Baiya said resolutely. Okay, Mom supports you, Song Shiyu said with a choked voice. Baiya calmed down. She felt that she shouldn't lose her temper with Song Shiyu. Song Shiyu should be feeling worse than her. I'm sorry, Mom. I was too emotional. You are still young and there is still hope. I only realized it very late. I have lived my life in vain, but I can't change it. I can't turn back time. I can see your obsession with Lingqing and how well you treat him. Unfortunately, their ambitions are not in love. Xiaoya, Mom. I want you to be happy. I want you to be happy, Song Shiyu said with sincerity. Baiya's heart still hurt. Let me wait for him one last time. Okay, but not here. It will be colder here at night. Your knees and joints won't be able to take it. Don't get sick. Don't you want to live for yourself? Baiya knew that Song Shiyu cared about her. She didn't want to make the people who cared about her sad. She stood up and followed Song Shiyu back. Shosho had fallen asleep under the care of Xia. I'll heat up the food for you, Song Shiyu said and went to the room. Baiya looked at Song Shiyu's back. In fact, Song Shiyu did better than her. She could control her emotions better than her. She couldn't be so calm and take care of others in sadness. Her eyes were full of water vapor. The water vapor condensed and turned into tears. Song Shiyu came out and put the hot food in front of her. She smiled and said, Eat first. Don't starve your stomach. For a moment, she was a little soft-hearted. A thought flashed through her mind. Why not live with Shosho and Song Shiyu like this, without any desire? But her heart was too tight. She was very unwilling. As long as she thought of what happened today, her emotions would suddenly collapse. She had a mental illness. If her mental illness relapsed again, it would be more serious than the previous situation, and it would be more difficult to cure. She was very afraid that she would force her mental illness to relapse. While she was suffering, she would hurt others. And the people she would hurt were not strangers, but people who cared about her. She lowered her head and ate the food, but she couldn't eat it. She ate a few mouthfuls randomly. Mom, go to sleep. I'll wait for him to come back. You should sleep early too. If he comes back, she will see him as soon as she wakes up. Song Shiyu said. Okay. Baiya answered. Song Shiyu looked at her worriedly and went back to the room to sleep. She couldn't sleep at all. Even if she had a terrible headache, she still couldn't sleep. She sat on the sofa and waited for Gu Lingqing to come back. It was not until 5:30 a.m. that Song Shiyu had already woken up. Seeing that Baiya was still sitting on the sofa, she said worriedly, You've been sitting for the whole night. Hurry up and go to sleep. I'll watch. When Lingqing comes back, I'll call you immediately. Baiya's eyes were extremely dry. She looked at Song Shiyu weakly. I said that I would give him 24 hours. There are still 3 hours. I can wait. You silly child. If he comes back, he won't let you wait for even an hour. Song Shiyu told the truth cruelly. She didn't want her to be too tired. Baiya knew, but in her heart, she was angry. She carried the last bit of hope and gave herself one last chance. If he didn't come back in 3 hours, she wouldn't wait anymore. Really, she wouldn't wait anymore. Song Shiyu saw that Baiya was stubborn. She sighed and went into the kitchen to make breakfast. After an hour, Shosho woke up. Xiaoxia brought him down. When he saw Baiya, he wanted to hug her. Baiya didn't move. She glanced at Shosho with a complicated gaze. She lowered her eyes and tears flowed down her cheeks. If Gu Lingqing didn't come back this time, she would definitely break down and go crazy. Chapter 742. Instead of dying in madness like her mother, she would rather end her own life. But after it ended, she still had nothing. There was no love waiting for her, there was no place she wanted to go. Perhaps, the best way was to hypnotize herself. She had hypnotized herself once, so she should be able to do it again. This time, she wanted to forget about Gu Lingqing, everything related to Gu Lingqing, including Shosho. Only by ending the source of her pain could she stop feeling sad. Xiaoxia saw that something was wrong with Baiya, so she brought Shosho to the room to play. As time passed, she stared at the clock on the wall like a statue, unable to hear anyone. Song Shiyu looked at Baiya and felt sorry for her. She walked to Baiya again. Don't wait anymore, child. It's almost 12 o'clock. You didn't eat for the whole day yesterday, and you didn't sleep for the whole night. Your body won't be able to take it. Baiya looked at the clock on the wall slowly. It was 11:50. She had waited for more than 26 hours. He really wasn't coming back. He was abandoning her, abandoning Shosho, abandoning his mother. He was so decisive. Baiya stood up slowly, clutching her heart. Her heart was hurting. Perhaps because she did not sleep, her feet felt light when she stepped on the ground. Xiaoya, eat something before you sleep. Song Shiyu said gently. Baiya shook her head and did not say anything. She climbed the stairs weakly. Song Shiyu was really afraid that she would fall and looked at her worriedly. She did not look at anyone. She walked into her room and closed the door. She climbed onto the bed and closed her eyes. The pain in her heart did not seem to belong to her. She forced herself not to think about anything and fell asleep. However, she did not sleep well. The pain woke her up every few minutes. The pain was so unbearable that she felt like she was going to explode. She slept and woke up. When she woke up, it was already 17 hours later. She went to the bathroom to brush her teeth and took a shower. You're awake, Song Shiyu said with a smile. Her cold gaze swept across the room. Where's Gu Lingqing? Song Shiyu's smile froze, and he began to stutter. She was a psychologist. Song Shiyu's expression had already told her the answer. In fact, he had known about it long ago. Therefore, when he was sure that Gu Lingqing had not returned, he could remain as indifferent as water. Mom, I'm hungry, Baiya said as she sat at the dining table. I'll prepare breakfast for you right away, Song Shiyu said hurriedly and went to the kitchen. Not long after, he brought out the century egg and lean meat congee, as well as fried dough sticks and eggs. Song Shiyu sat opposite her and comforted her. Lingqing is a child who knows what he is doing. I believe he will come back one day. Baiya lowered her head and ate her breakfast. We just have to wait patiently. If you're still unhappy, I can accompany you on a trip. I and Shosho, Xiaoxia, and Shulan will go out together, Song Shiyu continued. Baiya still did not say anything and ate her breakfast seriously. Song Shiyu did not know what to say at that moment. Such a cold Baiya made her feel a little uneasy. 10 minutes later, Baiya finished her breakfast. She put down her chopsticks and looked up at Song Shiyu. Mom, Baiya shouted. Song Shiyu had a bad feeling. Her nose was dry. Hey! I'm not going to wait anymore, Baiya said calmly without much emotion. All right, let's not wait anymore. We'll just live together in the future, Song Shiyu said, following Baiya's words. Yesterday, when I was waiting for him, I thought about a lot and recalled a lot. He wants to rule the country and bring peace to the world. I just want a little love. When our values and outlook on life are different, we'll feel wronged, sad, quarreled, and angry. We'll always be in hot water, Baiya said softly. He said, Mommy has been through this. I understand. Song Shiyu's eyes were moist. Baiya curled her lips slightly. I can't live a carefree life. I'll feel wronged every day I wait for him. When the grievances accumulate to a certain extent, they'll turn into resentment. I'll be so worried that I'll become paranoid and crazy. I even want to give up on myself to release it. I want Gu Lingqing to regret what he did yesterday. I want to make him regret what he did yesterday. Song Shiyu wiped her tears. You're a rational and good child. But I still feel wronged. He can let go of everything easily. I want to let go of everything too. Song Shiyu became nervous. Xiaoya, what do you want to do? You still have Xiaoyan. Shosho, don't do anything stupid. Mom, there are gains and losses when there are gains and losses when there are gains. With a mother who's in a bad state of mind, Shosho will grow up in a bad environment. He'll be influenced by his mother. Just like how I've always been influenced by my mother, I'm prone to depression and mental breakdown. I'm even more prone to mental breakdown and extreme. Baya explained. Xiaoya, you're still young. Everything will get better, Song Shiyu said worriedly. I want to leave. Maybe, I won't come back for the rest of my life, Baya said softly. Song Shiyu burst into tears. Lingqing just left and you want to leave too? Why can all of you be so heartless? Tianhang is like that, Lingqing is like that, and you are like that too. This is how the world is. Those who are hurt are always sentimental. Believe me, if I stay, every day will be torture for all of you, Baya said. She knew herself. If she stayed, she would go crazy one day. When she went crazy, she would become a burden to them like her mother. You've made up your mind, haven't you? Song Shiyu asked. Shosho, I'll leave it to you. What if Lingqing comes back one day? Where should we go to find you? Song Shiyu asked with teary eyes. Even if he comes back, don't look for me. Even if he comes back, I won't forgive him. Once, twice, 3 or 4 times. I don't have such a strong heart. What I want is just a little love, a happy and ordinary life with my husband's sincere company. Baya was determined. She said resolutely. What if Shosho misses you? There were waves in Baya's eyes. They were dark like the dragon scales on the body of a black dragon. They shone with water and became deeper. Just tell him that I'm dead. Will Shosho hate you? Song Shiyu was still making the last effort. Mom, believe me. If I stay, Shosho will hate me. Baya frowned. Her eyes were red. What's wrong? Song Shiyu asked worriedly. Baya could feel that Song Shiyu treated her well. However, she couldn't bear Gu Lingqing's departure. As a psychologist, she knew very well that her emotions had reached the tipping point. Every day in the future, she would suffer from insomnia and pain. She couldn't get over it. She wouldn't be like herself anymore. I've made up my mind, Baya said resolutely. She stood up and went back to her room to pack her luggage. Hello, I'm Qin Tang Tang. You can follow me on WeChat. Chapter 743. Song Shiyu knew that Baya and Gu Lingqing were the same kind of people. Once they decided on something, no matter what others said, it would be useless. Because they were actually more rational and smarter than anyone else. They could see the development, jump out of the current situation and see something different. She entered Baya's room and reminded her, after you leave this time, remember to take care of yourself. Everything else belongs to others. Only your body belongs to you. Mom, take care of yourself too, Baya said sincerely. I will take good care of Shosho. Don't worry, when you are tired of wandering, I will wait for you to come back, Song Shiyu said as her eyes turned red. She turned her face away and wiped her eyes. Tears streamed out of Baya's room. Baya looked at the direction where Song Shiyu disappeared and tears streamed down her face quietly. She would never come back again. She would never come back again. Even if Gu Lingqing came back alive, she would never come back. She was very tired. A relationship had used up all her energy and even her will. She had done everything, but in the end, the blow was devastating. She did not say goodbye to Shosho, Xiaoxia and Lin Shulan. She took her luggage and left. She went to look for Su Changhe. Su Changhe and Su Jiao got married. Su Jiao was 6 months pregnant and was resting at home. Su Changhe was surprised to see Baya. Where have you been? Your phone has been switched off. You didn't even come to my wedding. Baya smiled. I'm sorry. Too many things happened before, so I went into hiding. Is the current president your husband? Or is he your husband's brother? Su Chongha asked curiously. It's Gu Lingqing's elder brother. Senior brother. Is there any kind of surgery in America that can remove part of one's memory? Baya asked seriously. As far as I know, they've been researching it, but they've never succeeded. The structure of the brain is very complicated. It can repair cells and nerves. It can make a person lose his memory completely, but not part of it. However, hypnotists can hypnotize a person's subconscious and achieve partial hypnosis. You know the effect of hypnosis better than me, Su Chongha asked in confusion. But using the subconscious to hypnotize is too unstable. Once a gap is opened in the memory, the hypnotized will swarm in. It's not a long-term solution, Baya pondered and said. Who do you want to hypnotize? Su Chongha asked. Since Baya came to him, he didn't want to hide it. I'll do it myself. Su Chongha was stunned. Hypnotizing yourself is 100 times more difficult than hypnotizing an ordinary person because the subconscious will reject it. That's why I need your help. In this aspect, you're the best in the industry. My level of hypnosis is not as good as yours. I'm not confident that I can do it well, Su Chongha said worriedly. After I take the medicine, you'll assist me outside. I'll also try my best to hypnotize myself. I don't know if I can do it, but if I don't do it, I definitely can't do it, right? Baya said while thinking. Which memory do you want to hypnotize? Baya lowered his eyes. His gaze was deep, like the moonlight on the lake in winter, bright and clear. Everything about Gu Lingqing. Why? Don't you love him very much? Su Chongha was even more confused. It's the most painful thing to want and love but can't get. I don't want to suffer anymore. From the day he left, he's not worth my weight anymore, Baya said with certainty. It's not your style to give up easily. That's because I know that if I don't give up, I'll only hurt myself more. Senior brother, it's been 10 years. I was 21 that year, and I'm already 31 this year. I don't know how many more decades I have to wait. Maybe it's my whole life. If he loves me, I'll wait for my whole life. But it's him who doesn't love me. He can easily give up being with me. Why should I keep waiting for him? I don't want to wait. I don't want to be like Song Shiyu, who wasted his life and didn't get emotional peace until his death, Baya said emotionally. Will you fall in love again after you forget him? Yes, Baya answered firmly. Since you've decided to fall in love again, there's no need for hypnosis, Su Chongha said softly. He knew a lot about Baya, so his heart ached for her. Baya smiled bitterly. Without hypnosis, I can't give up on him. He used to be in my heart, fused with my flesh and blood. Because of the unwillingness and resentment in my heart, I want to dig my heart out and throw him away at any moment. But after my heart is dug out, I will die. If I die, where will I go? I don't want to live a life of pain, despair, and sadness every day. One day, I'll break down. So, I can only hypnotize you. Senior brother, help me. Help me never remember him again. I'll try my best. Baya, have you really thought it through? Su Chongha asked at the end. No, I've thought it through. This is the best way. I don't have to worry about whether he's alive or dead. Where did he go? How important are the children and I in his heart? From now on, Baya will be reborn from nirvana. She won't be for others, but only for herself. I'll be like what Master Gufa said. I'll laugh and watch. Baya said with tears in her eyes. If the first hypnosis doesn't work, I'll do it a second time. If the second time doesn't work, I'll do it a third time. If the third time doesn't work, I'll repeat it countless times. Su Chongha knew that Baya had made up her mind. When do you plan to start? Today, right now. Baya confirmed. She took out the medicine from her bag. Give me a glass of water. Su Chongha poured a glass of water for her. Baya took the medicine, lay on the space chair, and closed her eyes. In fact, she was still unwilling, but she was on the verge of a mental breakdown. Everything will end here. Half a year later, at a press conference in America, someone asked me what's the difference between a man's brain and a woman's brain. According to science, a man's brain is generally larger than a woman's. However, Women have more nerve cells and connections than men. So, the left side of a woman's brain is more used for emotional processing. Men, on the other hand, are more used for logic. Because of the difference between a man's and a woman's brain, the number of female mental patients is twice that of male mental patients. Whether you're awake and in pain every day, unable to take care of yourself and needing to rely on others, or whether you're asleep, what you experience in your brain is happiness, what you want, and joy. Everyone's brain can build another world. We call it imagination. Every day, 100,000 chemical reactions occur in everyone's brain. Some emotions, we call them sadness, depression, and sadness. After these chemical reactions, they will produce toxins that stimulate the nerves and affect a person's worldview, outlook on life, behavior, thoughts, rationality, and decisions. Some emotions, we call joy, excitement, and happiness. These chemical reactions will also produce antidotes. They will change the depressed people's hopeless thoughts and gradually improve. They will also suddenly purify evil spirits. Chapter 744. Specialist Bai. Can you be happy every day? A reporter asked. Baiya smiled. Of course not. I'll be annoyed because I didn't bring an umbrella on a rainy day. I'll also be stressed because the patient's family doesn't understand me. When I catch a cold, I'll feel pain. When I get tricked, I'll get angry. I'll be depressed because I don't have food to eat. I'll also be happy because people don't like me. There will be many emotional changes in a day. However, with effective control and adjustment, I can quickly cheer myself up. If it's something that can't be solved, then don't worry about it. What if it's something that can't be solved? That's a good question. If it's something that can't be solved, then giving up is another way. As long as you're willing, you'll get it, Baiya said calmly. What if it's something that has to be solved? The reporter asked again. It's already unsolvable. If you keep staring at it, then the first person to break down will be the person who needs to solve the problem. Moreover, they won't get what they want. They'll only think about the difficulties that will come after they can't solve it. They'll become pessimistic and even despair. Can I understand it as avoidance? The reporter asked again. In my eyes, it's flexibility. If you think that it's avoidance or you don't agree with my thoughts and concerns, then I can only say that you shouldn't be so serious about unhappiness. It's a small matter anyway. Don't waste your energy and time on it. The one who's unhappy is yourself. I'd rather use this time to do something that makes me happy, Baiya replied. There was a thunderous applause below the stage. Baiya smiled and nodded. Thank you to the authoritative expert in psychology, Baiya, for your guidance, the host said warmly. Then, he invited the expert in psychology. An hour later, all the experts in the field had spoken and left their phone numbers. Baiya walked out of the venue. Four policemen in plain clothes walked over. Hello, Miss Bai. Do you still recognize me? I'm George. We worked together on a previous case. Baiya recognized him. Hello, are you looking for me? You have a patient named Michelle among your clients, right? George asked. Baiya nodded. It's been 3 months since I last saw her. What happened to her? Can we talk somewhere else? George asked in a friendly manner. All right. Baiya and his assistant followed George and the other police officers to a cafe not far away. Michelle committed suicide this morning, but it was very strange when she committed suicide. Can you tell me more about her condition? George asked. Suicide? Baiya was shocked. No way. Why do you think it's impossible? George asked. The reason she was depressed was because of her son's death. She felt that she had a very important role to play in the death of her son. She didn't watch over him properly, which led to him being kidnapped and killed. After that, she would have nightmares every night. She blamed herself, felt guilty, and had insomnia. In the beginning they had to come every day. Then they had to come every week, and then they had to come for a month. That means she's getting better, right? George asked. Of course, I can feel her mental state. 3 months ago, she came to see me for the last time. She was in a good mood. She said that she was 3 months pregnant and that this time, she must take good care of her baby and not let anything happen to the baby. So, I don't understand why she would actually commit suicide. Unless there was a huge change in her life that took away her hope, Baya frowned. George and the police officers looked at each other and said to Baya, she committed suicide in a secret room. She cut open her stomach and died from excessive blood loss. She sent a suicide note to her husband through an email. However, she wrote on her Facebook that she wouldn't die and that she would watch all of you die a horrible death. We suspect that she was murdered. But her husband said that she would often have another personality, which made them feel afraid. It was also written in her suicide note. Can I take a look at the suicide note? Baya asked. All right. George passed the phone to Baya. Baya looked at Michelle's suicide note in George's phone and said, this suicide note is fake. George was shocked. Why do you think so? In it, she said that she knew that I was sick. My husband was afraid of hurting me, so he wouldn't tell me anything. She clearly saw me stabbing him with a knife. I think I'm possessed by a ghost. I can't hurt the people who love me, so I decided to end my life. You suspect that when there's a split, the person involved won't know, so there's a loophole? But she also wrote about it on Facebook, George said. Then she should be creating the illusion that she's a mental patient. Her target is her husband. You should talk to her husband, Baya suggested. I understand. Thank you, Miss Bai, George said. You're welcome, Baya said politely and drank the coffee in her cup. George and the others left first. Baya was still leisurely drinking coffee and listening to beautiful music. Sister Baya, aren't you going to intervene in this case? The assistant asked. Of course not. It's an obvious murderer with a clear modus operandi. It's just a small case. They can solve it themselves, and it won't cause a sensation. There's no need. Sister Baya, you're amazing. You're so observant. If we don't run a psychology clinic, we can open a private detective agency. Business will definitely be good, the assistant praised. Everyone has their own specialties. Contentment brings happiness. As long as you're happy, Baya said with a smile. Sister Baya, I didn't arrange any patients for you in the afternoon. Are you still going to the clinic in the afternoon? Baya leaned on the sofa. I'm not going. I'll just lie here and listen to music. It's pretty good. You can go back. Oh, then I'll go back first, Sister Baya. I have patients in the afternoon. Okay, Baya replied lazily. She closed her eyes and fell asleep. In her sleep, someone covered her with a blanket. She could feel that person's gentleness, and it felt familiar. Baya was in a daze. She squinted her eyes and saw a short-haired man against the light. The light was a little dazzling. She closed her eyes and ignored it. When she woke up, she found a blanket covering her body. She smiled slightly. When she fell asleep, it felt quite warm to be covered by a stranger with a blanket. She didn't want to wake up from the dream. She could even meet a romantic love. She got up and went to the bathroom to wash her face. When she came out, the coffee was already cold. She looked at the time. It was already 5 in the afternoon. She had slept for quite a long time. She pressed the beeper. The waiter smiled and walked forward. Bill, please, Baya said. Chapter 745. Did he pay with an app or cash? Baya asked. If it wasn't cash, she could return the money to him. She wasn't used to letting others pay for her. He paid with cash, and he's a very handsome man. He was sitting near you and covered you with a blanket. He's also from country A, the waitress said. Baya smiled. It seemed that she couldn't return the money. She met an old friend in her hometown, gave him some care, and then disappeared into the crowd. She still liked this warm feeling. Thank you. Baya took her bag and walked out of the cafe. Her phone rang. It was the police chief. She picked up the phone. Miss Bai, it's Joan. Are you free now? The police chief asked politely. Baya had worked with the police a few times before. She knew that their call must be about a case. Otherwise, they wouldn't call her for no reason. I just came out of the cafe. I'm going to buy some groceries to cook. Tell me if you have something to say. I'm listening, Baya said. She waved the taxi and got in. Can you come to the police station? The governor is there too. He's very interested in you, Joan said. She wasn't interested in the governor, but she worked and lived here. It wouldn't do her any good to offend them. I'll be there in 20 minutes. 20 minutes later. Baya arrived at the police station. A policeman led her to the chief's office. There were 2 guards standing in front of the chief's office. They were expressionless. The policeman pushed the door open and reported. Baya walked over. The governor and the chief stood up politely. I've heard about your deeds. I've always wanted to meet you, but I've been too busy recently. I'm very happy to meet you, the governor said politely. Baya also greeted him. It's an honor to meet you, Governor. Joan often talks about you in front of me. You've cooperated with many cases. I'm thinking of inviting you to join our special operation team. Are you willing? The governor said. I have my own job now. I'm worried that it will affect my clinic if I'm distracted. I'm really sorry, Baya rejected politely. That's not a problem. We can accommodate your time. Moreover, if we manage to get sponsors, we will give you good treatment. Baya smiled. Her grandfather had given her a huge sum of money. With the interest of this sum of money, she would not have to worry about food or clothing for the rest of her life. Running a clinic was just to give her something to do. She would not be idle. She did not care about money. Can I have another thing? Go ahead. The governor didn't agree immediately. Hypnosis. Actually, it's hypnosis of a person's spirit. I've been researching on the brain, and I want to get more data. I know of a laboratory that specializes in researching the human brain, but it's not open to the public. I hope that the governor can introduce me there to study, Baya requested. That's not a problem. This time, your sponsor and the laboratory sponsor are the same. Brother units shouldn't be a problem. I'll talk to the leader over there. Does that mean you've agreed to join the new team? The governor asked happily. I'm sure, Baya replied. That's great. I'll be the host tonight. I'll invite the others over and let them get to know each other tonight, the governor said to Joan. It's a blessing for our police station that they formed a team. Many unsolvable cases, including the serial killer case, can be solved. It will definitely cause a sensation, Joan said happily. At night, Baya met their team members. Other than her, they were all Americans. Ali, female, black. She was good at martial arts and had good judgment. She used to be a secret agent. Howard, male, retired Special Forces soldier. He was good at martial arts, weapons, and had strong analytical skills. Rue, an elite of the FBA. He had strong investigative and case-solving skills. He had participated in many large-scale cases. Baya had worked with him a few times, so she was familiar with him. The last one was called Ivy. He was a computer expert. He was famous for his dark side. When he was 15, he had already hacked into the national defense. Because he was a talent, an exception was made. Let's have a nice and cool name for our team, Ivy pushed up her glasses and said with a smile. How about Storm? Rue asked. I think Storm is cool and destructive, but because Storm is neutral, I can't hear the sense of justice, Ivy denied. Punisher, Howard said. It sounds like a straight man. It's too straightforward. There's no charm at all, Ivy denied again. Then it's called Sunshine, Howard said again. Sunshine is too warm. It doesn't even feel cool or intimidating, Ivy said in disdain. Then think of a better one, Howard said angrily. Ivy looked at Baya with a smile. She blushed and said in a softer voice, Baya, why don't you give it a name? Baya didn't care about names at all. She didn't even think about it. When she was suddenly called, she was stunned and said, 11. Why 11? Ellie asked in confusion. 11, marked with Arabic numerals, means 11, implying that justice has long arms, and there is only one truth, which is that you are the murderer. As Baya spoke, she felt a little embarrassed, as she had gone a little too far with her nonsense. Plus, it's November now, the month we form a team. It means that all the cases will be restored to their original state. The murderer won't get away with it, Baya continued. I think it's a good idea. Let's call it 11. It's very subtle and has a good meaning. It won't show off, but it's full of killing intent, Ivy said respectfully. I think it's a good idea. Ellie raised her hand. In fact, it was already approved with 3 votes. The others who didn't think it was a good idea could only raise their hands. All right, your code name will be 11. I will now draft up a document and pass it down. The area under my jurisdiction will be under your command. The main thing is that if you achieve results, the other states will also invite you. Slowly, your authority will increase, the governor said happily. Let's take it slow. No one can become fat in one bite, Joan said with a smile. An assistant next to Joan took the opportunity to say, there's been a very strange serial murder case recently. Let me introduce it to you. We'll talk at the police station tomorrow after work, okay? Ellie interrupted. Joan's assistant made an okay gesture apologetically. After dinner. Chapter 746. Baya became nervous and took out the baton from her bag. She quickly walked around the corner and leaned against the wall, quietly listening to the approaching footsteps. 1, 2, 3. Baya suddenly walked around the corner and looked at the person fearlessly. She frowned and said, It's you? Why are you following me? That. Ivy was caught and lowered her head awkwardly. She locked her eyes and didn't dare to look at Baya. Baya frowned. She could tell that he didn't want to hurt her. Ivy gathered her courage and said, I admire you very much and I've heard a lot about you. I'm not following you. I just want to escort you home and then I'll leave. Baya looked at her young brother and smiled slightly. Thank you, Ivy. That's very thoughtful of you. Where do you live? I live. Ivy looked behind her. I'm living at my parents' house now. I think I'll move out in the future. If you move out alone, no one will cook for you and you'll be lonely. If possible, it's better to live with your parents. After you get married, you won't live with them anymore, Baya said gently. Ivy pursed her lips and looked at Baya embarrassedly. She lowered her head and confessed, I like you very much. I liked you the first time I saw you in the newspaper. Then they came to me. I didn't want to say yes, but when they said you're coming, I agreed immediately. Baya smiled gently. We're a team. We'll work hard together in the future. Go back early and rest early. I'll see you at the police station tomorrow. Oh, Baya. See you tomorrow. Ivy walked backward until she couldn't see Baya anymore. Then she turned around and left. Baya arrived home. She bought a small bungalow. It had 2.5 floors. The first floor was 120 square meters, the second floor was 120 square meters, and the third floor was 60 square meters. She built a canopy on the top so she could watch the stars from there. She also had a basement and an underground garage. The reason she bought this place was not only because there was a large garden in front, but also a nice yard. She often gathered with her friends in the yard, and it felt good. She entered the room and the first thing she did was to turn on the air conditioner and stereo. The room was filled with melodious music. She lit a sandalwood incense stick, went into the room, changed into loose clothes, and went to the bathroom. She had a special hot spring bathing pool, which was 4 meters long and 3 meters wide. There was even a fountain inside. She turned on the water first and went to the gym to do half a round of yoga. Then, she washed off the clothes she wore today and went to take a bath. She closed her eyes and didn't think about anything. She quietly enjoyed the massage of the water. 15 minutes later, she came out of the sink. Without running the water, she went to the bathroom to wash her clothes and looked at the time. It was almost 12 o'clock. She turned off the music, climbed into bed, and fell asleep immediately. At 6 o'clock the next morning, she slowly opened her eyes. The first thing she did was turn on the music and light some sandalwood incense. After brushing her teeth and rinsing her mouth, she cooked some porridge in the rice cooker and went to the back garden. He turned on the faucet and the water came out. The water was directly connected to the bathtub, which was environmentally friendly and water-saving. She watered the flowers and plants. She went to wash the bathtub, changed into the clothes she was going to wear today, and washed the pajamas from yesterday. She stir-fried some carrots and shredded meat, and the porridge in the pot was ready. She turned on the TV while eating breakfast and watched the hot news. This is the most tragic serial killer case in history. Whether it's a ghost or a devil in the human world, we need a fair judge. In the end, I hope this serial killer case will end soon, the host said with a passionate voice. She was watching the morning news. Usually, the news at this time was about what happened after 8 o'clock last night. Baya frowned. Was this the case that the assistant wanted to talk about yesterday? She continued to eat breakfast. After eating, she put on exquisite makeup, went to the nearby market to buy fresh ingredients and put them in the refrigerator. Her phone rang. She saw that it was the director and answered. Baya, can you come to the station at 9:30? It's urgent, the director asked. Is it about the serial killer case? Baya guessed. Yes. This is actually the fourth case in recent years. We've been keeping it a secret because we don't want to cause panic. We're under a lot of pressure. Now that it's out, the pressure is even greater, Cheong said helplessly. I know, but I have a patient at 9 in the morning. I might have to be there at 10:30, Baya said. Okay. We'll wait for you, the director said and hung up. Baya usually rode her bike to work, but she chose to drive to the police station today. 10 minutes after the car drove out, she saw a masked man in black quickly crossing the road. There were 4 or 5 people chasing after him. Because he was crossing the road, Baya drove very slowly, so as not to bump into someone. Suddenly, there was a bang. Someone fired. Baya braked immediately. The man in the mask leaned on her window, and the necklace fell out. Baya glanced at it with blurred vision. The picture in the necklace seemed to be her, but before she could see it clearly, the man in the mask closed the necklace, glanced at her, and quickly disappeared on the road. Baya was a little dazed. How could that man have her picture in his necklace? She must have seen it wrong. Beep, beep, beep. Someone behind honked and urged Baya. Baya came back to herself and drove away. She looked at the rearview mirror and saw that the man in the mask had already shaken off the pursuers. She went to the clinic. The patient was a 14-year-old child. However, American children developed better. Although he was only 14, he already looked like a young man. He was tall and strong, had a pale complexion, and had freckles on his face. From her point of view, the young man was very good-looking. He had big round eyes, deep double eyelids, a high nose bridge, thin lips, and was tall and thin. When he saw Baya, he stared at her and said directly, "I want to play with you." Baya smiled slightly. Since his parents came to find her, this child had more or less psychological problems. From his mother's phone call, she learned that he had sex with women several times and then beat them, as if he had changed into a different person. Can you tell me the reason? Baya asked very patiently. The premise of treating a mental patient was to know the cause of the disease. You're very beautiful. You have delicate makeup and a good figure. You're my type, the boy said directly without any awkwardness. Chapter 747. The boy's eyes were filled with panic, and his pupils dilated. He carefully looked to the side, and his whole body was trembling in fear. He said, "I didn't hit them. It was him. He hit them." Him. Baya had seen this kind of patient many times, so he was very calm. He asked, "When he hit them, were you there?" The boy nodded. "I was there, but I was tied up by him. He didn't let me intervene. I watched him hit those girls. I was very scared. I was afraid that he would hit me too." "You are a very strong boy." "No, he is much stronger than me. He is 2 meters tall, and his arms are as thick as my thighs. He is very strong. I tried to stop him, but he pushed me away. I rolled down the stairs and was in the hospital for a week," the boy explained. "Can you tell me what he looks like?" Baya asked. The boy thought hard and shook his head. "I don't know. I don't dare to look at him. I don't dare. He told me not to look." "Then do you know why he keeps following you?" Baya asked. "Why?" The boy was confused. "I don't know. Why does he keep following me?" Baya smiled. "If he comes out to look for you again, you must take a good look at his face, his clothes, and remember every detail of his body. That way, I can find him and help you defeat him." "You are so weak. Can you do it?" the man said doubtfully. Baya smiled confidently. "Of course, I have a secret treasure. No matter how strong he is, he will not be able to withstand a single blow from me. The problem is, you have to help me find him first." The boy's expression relaxed a little. He returned to the original topic. Can I have sex with you?
No, Baya answered directly.
Why?
The boy was puzzled.
You are still a child. The customs of your country are open. In fact, early contact with sex, or even infatuation, will cause poor health and early death.
Really?
In China, there was a dynasty called the Qing dynasty. When the children of the royal family reached the age of 12, the adults in the family would find them a bed attendant to let the children understand the matters between a man and a woman, so that they wouldn't be at a loss on their wedding night. However, children of this age have poor self-control and will be addicted to it. Other than stunting, it will also affect their health. Therefore, none of the princes live a long life. In fact, there are very few who are tall, Baya narrated in a relaxed manner. Is what you said true?
The boy asked in fear.
There's a lot of information on the internet. You can look it up. Also, can you tell me something that left the deepest impression on you? Baya easily changed the topic and controlled the conversation. The boy's eyes were locked. He didn't want to say anything. In exchange, I will tell you something that will leave a deep impression on you, Baya guided him in a friendly manner. You first. The boy was still a little guarded. When I was born, my father was with another woman. My mother was divorced and she had a mental breakdown. When I was young, she used a knife to slit my wrist. She also slit her own wrist. She wanted to commit suicide with me, but we were saved by our neighbor, Baya said calmly. The boy frowned.
How old were you then?
When I was 5 or 6, she was sent to a mental hospital. I didn't have anyone to adopt me, so I went to an orphanage, Baya continued.
It's your turn.
The boy paused and said, I witnessed a murder. My parents divorced a long time ago, and my father married another woman. That woman was very bad. She often beat me, and when my father wasn't home, she would sleep with other men on my father's bed. I found out many times that she did it for me. She wouldn't let me tell you, so she threatened me. If I told my father, she would kill me.
What happened after that?
Baya asked. My father caught her in bed with another man and beat her to death. My father went to jail and my mother took me away, the boy said. Baya understood the cause of his illness. He was traumatized when he was young and subconsciously felt that women were bad. In order to protect himself, he had been suppressing it. He suffered from mania and fantasized that a tall man would come out to protect him. How old were you that year? Baya asked. 7, no 8, the boy said. Follow me, Baya said and brought him to the bathroom.
Look at yourself in the mirror.
The boy looked at himself in the mirror. Do you like to play football? Baya asked. Yes, very much, the boy said. What's your dream? Baya asked again. To be a PE teacher. Look, you're handsome, bright, and strong. Girls like you should like you. I can see confidence, bravery, and kindness in your eyes. Unfortunately, there's a person who's always following you. He's brought you a lot of trouble. He's made you get scolded by your parents. He even made you see a doctor. He's also made the women you like stay away from you and be afraid of you. How about we find him together and I destroy him? Baya asked with a smile. The boy nodded with certainty. I'll give you a number. When you see him, tell me, okay? Baya said patiently. The boy looked at Baya gratefully and nodded with trust. When I grow up, can I chase you? The boy asked. Yes, Baya said with a smile. When he grew up, there were still 2 years left. Many things would happen in these 2 years. Children's words shouldn't be taken too seriously. The boy left happily. Baya looked at the clock on the wall. It was already 9:50. She had to rush to the police station. The assistant came over. Sister Baya, many people called to make appointments with you. Yesterday's seminar had a good effect, the assistant said happily. I'll be very busy in the future. I won't be able to see everyone. Register everyone's situation first. Then, you can set a time for them based on the situation. If possible, take a look and see if there's anyone you can see. Sister Baya, our business is so good. Why don't we hire more doctors? The assistant asked confusedly. I opened a psychology clinic not to earn more money, but to have something to do. I'll go out first. I won't be coming to the office in the afternoon. See you tomorrow, Baya said with a smile. She went out to the basement car park. Suddenly, a man rushed out and hugged her. She was shocked. The electric baton was in her bag. She couldn't get it when she was hugged by him. "Dr. Bai, I like you," the man said while panting. He pushed Baya against the car door and took off his pants. Baya couldn't move at all. He had just taken off his pants when he was pulled away by a strong force. Before he could see who it was, he felt a numbness on his back and fainted. Baya looked at the masked man who suddenly appeared. He had a necklace with her picture on it. Chapter 748.
The man stared at her.
Because he was wearing a mask, she couldn't see his eyes clearly. However, she felt that he should know her. Otherwise, why would he wear a necklace with her picture?
"Speak," Baya urged again. "You don't want to know who I am,"
the man said. His voice was low and hoarse, like the last note of a cello. It made people feel a little sad. She rejected this sad feeling and did not continue to ask. "Thank you for saving me." "You're welcome. You saved me in the morning." "We're even now," the man said. He turned around and quickly disappeared into the basement. Baya came back to his senses. There were some things that he wouldn't worry about if he didn't think about them. There were some things that he wouldn't be in danger if he didn't touch them, no matter how curious he was. She squatted down and pulled the mask off the man on the ground. She had met this man a few times. He seemed to be the salesman of the real estate company next door. She dialed a number. "Joan, I've had an accident. Please send someone to the basement of my clinic." When everything was settled, it was already 11:30 p.m. when Baya arrived at the police station. Everyone else had arrived. She was also very apologetic. She nodded at her team members and said, "I'm sorry. In order to express my apology, I'll treat you to lunch." "It's fine. We've just arrived. Let's sign the contract individually first," Ivy said immediately. Baya smiled gratefully at Ivy. The director's assistant, who was also Detective Shen, entered the room, looked around, and said, "Since everyone is here, I will first talk about this urgent case." "Does it have anything to do with the serial murders last night?" Rui asked. "Yes, actually this is the 4th case this year." Shen turned on the projector. "This case is very strange. They are all families with dead husbands. No matter how many people there are, they will only leave the youngest child alive. One child is 5 years old, one child is 6 years old, one child is 3 years old, and one child is 1 year old. The second child is 2 years old." "So, it's not really a massacre," Ali interrupted. "This case is very special. The strangest thing is that the murderer is her dead husband." "What does that mean? Are the 4 serial cases all committed by the deceased husbands?" Howard asked, puzzled. "Yes, the testimonies of the 5-year-old, the 6-year-old, and the 3-year-old all said that their fathers came back and then they all died." Shen frowned. As he spoke, he felt scared and shivered. "Tell me in detail." Baya locked his eyes on the screen and said. Shen brought up the first case. "This is the first case. It happened in March. The victims were Annie's family. Annie's husband's parents, Annie, and their youngest son, who was 5 years old. The child said that his father had passed away due to illness and had been dead for half a year. He was very happy when he suddenly came back, but his father told him not to tell anyone and to stay in the same room with him. Before he knew it, he fell asleep. The next day, his grandparents disappeared. He told his mother, but she didn't believe him. But his father came back and took her away. After that, his mother never came back. But at night, his father came back and slept with him. When he woke up again, he found that his parents were gone. He saw it. After that, this child asked the neighbors if they had seen his family. His neighbors found something strange and called the police. The police found 3 bodies in the basement. Annie had been raped and there was no male DNA left in her body. Was there any skin tissue in Annie's fingernails or in her mouth? Rui asked. No, Annie's hands and feet were tied and her own clothes were stuffed in her mouth. She was strangled to death. Through practice, it was found that she was sexually aroused, Shin said. They were open-minded people. When Baya heard that, she couldn't help but blush. How did Annie's parents die? They were poisoned. Through tests, it was found that they died of fluoride. Annie's parents had high blood pressure and the fluoride was mixed into the medicine for high blood pressure, Shin explained. Let's talk about the second case, Baya said. The second case happened in May. It was Mary's family. She was pregnant with 2 children. Her husband had passed away 3 years ago due to a car accident. She had a 12-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old son. The son said that his father was back and wanted to take him out to play. He fell asleep in the car. When he woke up, he heard that his family was all dead. Mary and her 12-year-old daughter stabbed each other to death. Both of them were raped and there was no DNA left in their bodies. You said that the 12-year-old daughter was raped. Then it shouldn't be the biological father. Is this person a demon? Or does he know how to disguise himself? Howard frowned. Is there any financial loss? Baya asked. There's no loss in the bank account, but I'm not sure about the family. The witnesses were all children. Children don't know much about adults' finances, Shin explained. What about the third case? Ali asked. The third case happened in July. Hess was a beautiful female model. Her husband was a gangster. He was stabbed to death because he had an argument with someone. They had a 3-year-old child. The child said that his father was back. The murderer stayed in Hess's house for 2 months. In August, Hess wrote a sentence on Facebook. I feel so happy. I want to be happy forever. And then? Ali asked anxiously. She found it unbelievable. In October, Hess's friend came to visit Hess. She said that she hadn't seen Hess for 3 months. She found Hess's body. She was dismembered and locked in the bathroom, Shin said. Where's the child? No one took care of the child for a month. Ali asked. There was enough milk powder, biscuits, and snacks at home. The child ate milk powder and biscuits alone. When she was found, she was malnourished. Her eyes were hollow, but her body was fine. Are there no surveillance cameras around the neighborhood? Hess was a female model. There should be surveillance cameras installed at home, right? Ali asked curiously. There are surveillance cameras in the neighborhood. We did see a man's back, but we didn't see his face. There might be surveillance cameras in Hess's house, but we couldn't find them. The fourth case was last night. The one who survived was the 2-year-old baby. The others were burnt to a crisp. The autopsy report didn't come out. Since he entered the room, didn't he leave any fingerprints? Howard asked. He didn't leave any trace. It's like a ghost did it. We can't do anything, Shin said helplessly. Baya, you're a psychologist. After hearing all this, can you give us a profiling? Ali asked. Everyone's eyes were on Baya, waiting for her to say, Hello everyone, I'm Qin Tang Tang. You can follow me on WeChat. You're tuning in to the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.